In a century of World Cups, it's not just the football that's changed. Stadiums have gone from concrete behemoths to technological marvels, and the giant monolithic arenas help to define tournaments. Back in 1930, the world embraced its greatest spectacle for the first time. Uruguay was the host, and in just 90 days, they built a stadium that's still there today. It was a gargantuan effort to pull together the 90,000 capacity Estadio Centenario, one of only 3 venues for that tournament, that would act as a monument to 100 years of Uruguayan independence. If that was the World Cup's birthplace, Mexico City's Estadio Azteca became its cathedral. Some of the World Cup's most iconic moments happened on this grass, including this, of course. Also, both Pelé and Maradona lifted the trophy in the Azteca. A bit of pub quiz ammo for you there. You're welcome. In England, there's no more special place to us than Wembley, the scene of our greatest triumph. And yes, it definitely was a goal. Some incredible stadiums across the world have hosted matches, but you don't have to have a modern-day spaceship of a ground to make it memorable. Take 2006, for example, and here. The memories of what happened at Berlin's Olympiastadion show events on the pitch can elevate a stadium in the minds of fans worldwide. But that doesn't stop us from marvelling at modern triumphs of engineering. Let's jump ahead to Qatar and take a look at this, the Lusail Stadium. This gorgeous golden bowl hosted the frankly unbelievable final in 2022. But that's not where it ends in Qatar. Take Stadium 974, for example. This place was built from shipping containers and can be taken down and built somewhere else. Mad. It's crazy to think that we've gone from building giant concrete bowls to what is basically modern art. To be fair, some concrete bowls, like the Maracanã, are art in its most flawless form. The teams and the players are why we all come, but sometimes the stage they perform on ends up being the main character. And with structures like this, it's hardly a surprise.
Yes, hello and welcome to the World Cup Weekender with me, Jonny Owen, and former Nottingham Forest, Everton and Burnley manager Sean Dyche. I was going to put in there as well. And Millwall,
Watford.
And Watford, yes, Watford. Millwall, Chesterfield and Northampton legend. Can I say legend?
Oh, I'm not quite sure about legend.
Millwall?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I don't think I fit in the legendary category.
Every time I get in a cab, though.
Maybe Burnley as a manager. Maybe I'll slide myself into that one a little bit.
I'll give you Millwall, because every time we get in a cab in London, you'll go, all right, Sean, when you get back down the den.
Wall to wall, wall.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, we'll be looking back on another fascinating few days at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, including Scotland's latest outing against Morocco. We'll also assess England's impressive start to the competition and ask whether the 3 Lions are already showing the signs of genuine contenders. He's a genuine contender. We'll be talking Cristiano Ronaldo. His future, his role, the headlines that seem to follow him wherever he goes, and we'll put Sean on the spot to find out exactly how he'd manage one of the biggest personalities football has ever seen. And because no World Cup show is complete without a bit of nostalgia, we'll be taking a trip down memory lane to relive the moments that made us fall in love with the tournament in the first place. From iconic goals to unforgettable giant killings, we'll share some of your favourite World Cup memories, so make sure you message us. That's with all your calls, plenty of debate and much more to come. This is the World Cup Weekender on talkSPORT. Yes, World Cup, Sean. I mean, like...
Here it is again. Here it is again. Was that 4 years ago?
And we were just saying, when we were kids, 3 live games a day was heaven, wasn't it?
I know, and now you think, I can't fit it in. It's one of them weird things, Johnny, you know. because of my background, obviously, with football, is that they presuppose you watch every minute of every game.
I know,
it's nearly
yeah.
impossible.
I know.
I mean, even though the coverage is incredible now,
It is.
but it's nearly impossible. So you just try and get snippets and the goals.
It's usually on in the background, I always think.
Yeah. Well, life still gets in the way.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. But if it's a big game, it's a big country, or it's a big game, then you sort of like...
I'm normally dancing or something for TikTok. You know, I'm like,
You are.
all over that. I still marvel that people think that's serious, you know. Isn't it weird? You go, why are you doing that? I go, no, it was a old joke. It was a joke. I wouldn't do that. That's irony. But anyway.
Cut quite the shape, didn't you, on the old Instagram? I know, yeah. There you're following on Instagram. Very impressive. Sean's on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as well. Not that anybody cares, but Sean's on Instagram. Already got, I think, like a 250,000 followers in a few weeks, isn't it?
That, yeah. I'm surprised myself. It was a bit of fun. My daughter had been telling me for years to get
Yes.
it. So anyway,
That's great.
Break the seal. But no, it's good. It's been all good. It's been all good. Some good stuff's come out.
Interesting stuff on that. It's funny what goes viral. It's obviously mentioning like a pint or something.
I know, yeah, we had an idea, didn't we? Pint and a curry, and it just went mad. People go mad for it just for that. You know, a little ramble about curries and pints.
Curries and is it too hot for a curry today, later?
Ooh, I love a curry. Ooh.
Even on a hot day in
I have
London.
to have a couple of halves of lager shandy, as I like to say later, Johnny, and a curry. That might go down rather well.
Yes, and taking
Father's Day off. Happy
Father's Day to all out there. If there's any messages you want me and Sean to shout out to anybody wishing them a happy Father's Day, please do. We'd be very happy to do that. The 2026 World Cup is in full swing, of course, and talkSPORT has it covered from woe to woe.
It's fitting that the World Cup starts in a stadium where both Pele and Diego Maradona lifted the trophy. Now we have more games, more hope. And here comes from Rashford, keeping his feet and winning the game for England. The Three Lions off and running in double quick time.
Alex Freeman with his third American goal. He makes it USA 2, Australia 0. Junior comes through, ball on the right foot, scores! And Brazil are having fun in Philadelphia. Brazil 3, 80-0.
There you go. Already in full swing. I've got to make you laugh here. Our lovely producer, Anil, right? We said to him, just put down like some notable results so far. How many has he put down here? He's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 15 results.
Only been laughing.
Every game so far. No, it's good to see. I mean,
Brazil, Morocco, they're the ones, aren't they? Brazil, Morocco, Spain, Cape Verde, maybe even the Netherlands, Japan. Although Japan, bit of an outsider, I reckon.
Interesting, Japan. I was just talking about earlier on.
Outsiders.
Yeah, because Japan have a bit of that sort of like in the 70s and 80s where the South American teams, you didn't really know anything about them.
When I know it's the Euros, but Greece won the Euros.
Yeah.
And it was out of nowhere. What's going on there? And the team unit was amazing.
Yes, exactly.
So, I know what you mean. Sort of
nobody kind of knows. Yeah. And I think that could use that for their advantage. I mean, they drew with I call them Holland, but Netherlands. But they had a hell of a result the other night. They looked decent. But you know what? We were saying the first game that Argentina played in the last World Cup, they lost to Saudi Arabia.
Do you remember that was oh my goodness,
massive story, wasn't it?
Everyone just said, what is going on there? Yeah. It was like people, just going balmy over it, and then they win it.
They win it.
I know
and I was thinking a little bit of that.
Greatness of football.
Exactly. I was thinking a little bit of that for Spain. Everybody's then he drew the first game, but sometimes you warm into a tournament, don't you? Yeah, exactly.
And then, like you say, people have shut down for a while. They do these friendlies, but it's not the same.
No.
And then the players sort of in that weird mode, and then they get back on it there, they get back playing again, the bug comes back, and then it's real business again.
It is.
Sometimes I think you do get the odd slow start. I mean, England started fantastic.
They did. Second half, they were excellent.
Yeah, Spain found it tough, and it's hard, to break down a wall.
Yeah.
Cape Verde, they've just, formed that.
Yes.
The banks of 4 or whatever you do, 5-4-1, whatever way you look.
What we used to call in the 70s and 80s, Sean, defend deep. They now call the low block, is it?
Yeah, the low block. Low block, of course, Johnny. Yeah. People wouldn't understand unless we use modern terminology, of course. It's like on that pressing, run after it and get it back. Counter pressing.
Yeah. Transition. What do you mean? Like turn around and play the other way?
What? Just run at someone and stop them from playing. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Dino did a great thing of that. Did you see it on talkSPORT? We had a rant about it, and he went through every single modern statement and just did the old one.
Oh, some of it is madness, isn't it? I love that when they played a lot of vertical passes. That's a polite way to say a long ball. Okay, no, right, yeah. You say that about me. He plays lots of vertical passes. Okay, yeah. I know what you're implying.
Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I mean, Scotland, the other ones, I mean, they had a win at the start, which is the most important thing.
By the way, just to clear it up, John McGinn, his brother, Steve McGinn, great player, unfortunately got a bad injury when we were at Watford, but what a lad, what a player. So John McGinn, you might remember, there was a bit of a set to me and him had it.
The coats thing.
I
was coats that
I
jacket?
messaged him on Instagram and the Scottish FA and said, if he wants my lucky coat, I can sign it and send it over. Just hope it brings him a bit more luck than the last game.
Maybe this can go viral on Instagram.
I know, I did.
Send your lucky coat.
If he checks his Instagram, I put a note on there and I said, do you want me to send over the lucky coat?
Oh, if you sent that and they went through it, that would be it.
Mad.
It would become
mad.
Dyche's lucky coat for
I
Scotland.
don't mind, of course, I'm England mad, but I don't mind the home nation, anyone, doing well for us.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of all of us.
Well, as a Celt, I'll have to forgive them the Joe Jordan handball. But today I've asked for some Scottish music to play, and you've asked for some classic English music, so supporting the two teams. As a Welshman, I'm an interested neutral observer.
It's a fair point.
You know what I mean? And
we talk about this a lot, though. I've always wanted, if we're not doing it, or there's another game in Scotland, I want them to win. I'm not into that just thing, because I am a proud Englishman, of course. But that doesn't mean I can't just support people. I know lots of the players, of course, as well. I've had lots of Irish players, I've lots of Scottish players, lots of Welsh players, down my years.
Yeah.
And think the world of my players, so therefore I'd support them and back them.
Of course, I mean, I'm kind of used to as Welshman not to being in the World Cup anyway. So we've only ever got to one, so it's you've just got to sort of sit back, and it's harder now. My daughter said a great thing. She said, now that we've qualified, I was like, I know, it's almost like you've been let out to play a few times and you've been sent back in the house.
I think over Super Ali, I saw a comment from him. He said Scotland deserve a point just for their fans.
Oh, they do. Their fans have been superb. They've been brilliant, and England's fans as well. In Dallas.
I agree.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the. It seems to be the subject is the hydration break, right? I'm going to say, of course, I'm old-fashioned. I'm against it, right? I don't think there should be an hydration break. I think lots of the stadiums have, like say, air conditioning, and some players have sensibly said, like Van Dijk has said, isn't he? If there's air conditioning, we don't need the hydration break. Well, what's your views on it?
Define it's the first thing, isn't it? Because it's a hydration break, or is it a coaching break, or an advertising break? I think it's all three. Isn't it really? I think the differential for me is the idea, the hydration break, they said it's got to be even for everyone, so no matter what the temperatures. And you're like, well, but that don't work, does it? Because I saw the temperature mix. So England of that, I think it was 20 degrees. But I think the hottest has been like 33 degrees. So that can't be the same as playing in 20, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you want to really make it level playing field, not just hydration breaks, you have to make all the stadiums the same, don't you? You have to make all the air conditioning the same and the temperature the same.
Yes.
That's a real level playing field.
That's a great point.
So, because it does obviously tax you more if it's boiling hot, and especially if you're not used to them temperatures.
Yes.
So that's not level, is it? But then they're saying, but the water break is because if it's a cool stadium, they still deserve a water break, the same as if it's a hot stadium. It's not level, is it?
Here's an interesting thing I read this morning, and this will sort of sum up exactly what you said, Sean, about is it a hydration break or is it an advertising break? So there's going to be 832 breaks in this tournament, right?
How long? What's the average? Did it say?
It's about 3 minutes, right? They've worked out that it's 250,000, but this is the lowest average per advert to put in there. So this is the television are already making £402 million on adverts just on American television.
And then they've got the tickets.
On the tickets.
And crazy.
And this is where you just go as a fan. I know you're meant to be a non-profit organisation and lots of stuff to be said about FIFA or whatever, but come on, there's just a way of rinsing everything. And the poor fan, I just think it's the ticket prices for the average fan.
The madness is people will do it because it's the World Cup.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not saying that's right either, because it puts you under pressure to do it if you're a fan, but it's mad, isn't it? Some of the stuff you read in, some of the levels of ticketing, and then, like say, you got all the advertising money on top of that, seemingly.
Yes.
And all the stuff that goes around the World Cup, and you think, well, how much do you want? How much is enough eventually? We go, come on.
And where does it go?
Hang on a second.
Can it go back into the
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's got to be some fan welfare in there somewhere, isn't there? No,
absolutely, there has to be, for me.
I agree on their argument. Well, why does it keep selling out then?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. They'll just go, but, there'll be a top to that in the end.
It's the American way as well, isn't it? The dollar, the mighty dollar.
Just a quick one before we go to break then. What would you do on a hydration break? Are you getting just sort of quick?
It depends on the state of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they were talking about last night. I didn't see the game last night with the Netherlands, but they had a break and then it changed the feel of that game, 2-0 up, and then the next made a tactical change.
Yeah.
So it depends what you're seeing. Depends, is that first, let's call it 20 minutes-ish, going well? Is it not going well? Do you notice something? Can you change something? You can tweak something. What it does allow you is to give proper information on, because it's hard when the game's live.
Yeah.
Players are in motion. They're in that game state. It's hard to look someone in the face and get a message on. You can do it, but usually it's if someone's down injured or something like that. So I think there's a definite benefit to the management and the coaches. And sometimes they might just need a genuine hydration break. If they're going well, you might just go, whoa. Get their fluids in, get their energy in, maybe the gels and stuff like that, give them a little boost. So I don't know. It depends on the state of the game for me.
Very good.
I'm not into it though.
No,
I've got to be honest.
Neither am I.
Just let the game be the game.
It's not going to come in the Premier League, but I hope it doesn't.
With the other quick thing, VAR and everyone's saying it's too slow. Well, then you have an hydration break, so it slows the game down even more.
Yes. So listen, up next on the World Cup weekender, I like that name. We're asking Sean Dyche how he would treat the circus surrounding Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo, and also let us know, because I'm just going to, for a split second, ask Sean your favourite World Cup. Sean, your favourite ever World Cup?
First one I remember properly, 82.
Same, Spain 82. Stay with us.
Now, earlier in the show, we asked the all-important question. Who was faster in their pomp? Kyle Walker or Gabby Agbonlahor? Well, talkSPORT's Anil Kandala was at the talkSPORT fan zone at Villa Park last night for England against Croatia, and he put that question to some of the fans in attendance.
It's a tough call, but I'd go for Gabby. He was awesome, and no defender wants anybody with that pace running at them. So I'd go for Gabby. I would.
Quicker than Kyle Walker?
I think so. Yeah, I do. And I'm sure Gabby would agree with me.
Gabby. Well, he used to dart across the field, didn't he? I think he's better than Kyle, to be honest.
Well, we had Kyle on loan for us for many years ago, and he was quick, but Gabby was quicker.
And there you go. It might be a little bit unfair because Gabby Agbonlahor is in that building behind me, but it seems that Gabby's got the vote.
Right, yeah. The rest of the world. He actually spoke to about 100 people who were there, but we already decided to show 3, okay?
I clipped that up for them.
Yeah.
Do you know what, though? When I think about Kyle, when I go back to that game, Kyle, of like, I think it might have been Germany at Wembley, and you was right side of the 3, but like you was all the way in the right back position, and I was at the game, mate, and you come sprinting across, mate. Someone was through on goal. I can't remember who it was. It was Muller, yeah. I'm like, where has this guy come from? And you've done that for the last 15, 16 years, mate. Your centre-half pairings with England and Manchester City must have been looking at you thinking like, okay, maybe I can leave a bit of space in behind, because you would always just come out of nowhere and cover.
Yeah, I think that was what my game was based on. I probably didn't create that much going forward with assists and stuff. I chipped in with a few, but not as much as probably what I should have done. So my main game when I got a little bit older was to make sure I can cover the back.
Incredible.
Here's a great suggestion. Jill's a regular contributor. She says, why not get both of them in the car park? Said, my money's on Kyle.
Go. Drums, ready? Jonny Owen and Sean Dyche on the World Cup weekend. I said I'd play some Scottish classics. Alive and Kicking, which sums up Scotland. They're still in the competition, still got a chance. We're going to be talking Cristiano Ronaldo now, and been talking about him on the breakfast was Rio Ferdinand.
Well, Roberto Martinez is paid the money to make this decision, and I think it's the way that he handles that it will be key. I think if he was going to attempt to kind of take Cristiano Ronaldo out of the team, I think it's all about the narrative. I think it's all about approaching him and going, listen, if he thinks this is how I'll do it. We've got a better chance of winning it for you coming on with 30 minutes to go when the opposition are tired, when their limbs are all weary, lactic acid is building up in all these players' legs, and they see Cristiano Ronaldo warming up on the side, and you come on and terrorise them and capitalise on that in the latter stages of the games. Do you think anyone's going to be bothered when you lift that trophy as our captain? No.
There you go. There's Rio talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. Like you said, a huge amount of press and interest always follows the lad. We were chatting before we came on air, Sean. Would you pick him? Would I pick him? I'd still pick him.
I know it's tough, isn't it? I mean, you know, whatever way you look at it, it's a talisman, isn't he? Plus, if he does land a chance, which he will do, then you wouldn't want anyone in the world probably on the end of that chance than him. No, because he puts it away. We all know that his record. Really tough call as a manager. Tough with all the noise around it, but obviously on the other hand it brings focus, so you know it's a real double-edged sword, I think, that one, in managing someone like that, the prowess of him as a player, the noise of him just generally because he's so huge. I mean, I think it's over £1 billion he's worth individually. I mean, imagine that as a sportsman. It's incredible. Sports person, £1 billion. So you're sort of carrying this whole package, and it does get bigger than the team sometimes, and I think that would be the biggest thing the coaching team, the manager are wary of. But what do you do about it? Like I said, the other night, you know, there was a lot of noise. You know, is he too old now? Can he still do it? But he's still clever in his movement. I mean, he's not running around like he was many years ago, but he's so clever. He's just drifting behind the back line, trying to almost put doubt in the opposition. So, and you've got to remember, that's another thing. The opposition are thinking he's still Cristiano Ronaldo. They're already thinking, oh goodness, you know, we got to make sure we keep an eye on this fella. Yes. So you've already, if you get what I mean, that edge of a team when you've got someone like him. But is the greater good probably come time where, like Rio was saying there, that trade-off, do you leave him off the pitch knowing that you can throw him on and he can find big moments? He's shown that, and he probably will find a big moment. I think there's a lot to debate about it. I really think it's a tough one. I'm not trying to sit on the fence to him. It sounds like I just think it's a really tough scenario. And this is why coaching staffs are so important. You have a staff, you take opinion. Eventually, you're the manager, you make the decision. Well, certainly I do, and I'm more happy to do that. But I always took opinion from my staff. Always, certainly about key decisions with players, maybe tactical decisions, individual decisions. This is where the staff is so important, the feedback. And then handling that moment, if you do leave him out, I think that's part of man management, how you explain it to him.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember something very similar in the 2016 Euros where Wales were flying and they played Portugal in the semi-final, and he'd had an awful tournament. It was the famous thing where he'd sort of snapped at a reporter, and he was sensational in that game. He had that game in him, and that's where you're right, where you think when he's got that big moment. And listen, the thing is, he's not like Messi on the pitch. He irritates people. People like go, you either love him or hate him, Ronaldo. He's got that sort of, not arrogance, but a way of playing. But interestingly enough, a bit of insight. You've got it because obviously you know Roy quite well, and I've got it because I know the people that made the documentary about him. Off the pitch, people really like him. He's a really nice lad. So you think in a competition like that, in a tournament where it's important, you all stuck together for a few weeks and that, is he important to the group as well? That's the thing.
Exactly. You got to. I mean, that's an important factor. Because, like you say, a lot of time with each other, a lot of time in these camps, and you need that kind of. It's not nice. You don't have to be best friends. No. But there's respect, and he's certainly got respect. Yes. Let's have it right. You know, every single player, every coach, every person who's worked with him will tell you what an amazing professional he is. So I think that's another thing, you know, just being part of the camp. I mean, another thing that, you know, a lot of noise about this, he hasn't scored in 10 games for Portugal. Yeah. That's screaming at me.
Oh, he's
stats telling you he is due. What I'm telling you, I said this to all the strikers I've worked with. They're not a tough. So I said it's coming your way. Even teams that I've had losing streaks with, and there's been a few of them. Johnny, trust me. Unfortunately, I always used to say to them, I said it's coming our way because stats and facts. Yes. You know, they don't lie to you. So I'd be really worried if I was the opposition and Cristiano Ronaldo, because I'm telling you, the stats are telling you he will score, and he's due one.
I mean, there's a whole sort of philosophy around that. There's a book written about hot baskets, the baseball, the basketball.
Hot rims was it?
Hot rims, that's it. Yeah, where he'll a run of them all going in and a run with, but both will end. Exactly as you're saying. So he's going to do something at some point, isn't he?
Yeah, and if you keep doing the right things, and you keep getting in the right areas, you will score goals. Yeah. That's my belief in strikers. I wasn't a striker, but I've coached plenty of them. And just keep getting in the right areas, and I'm sure he'll do that. But it's a massive decision. Yes, starts and all, I think.
I mean, it's interesting that Martinez has got that job. He's the manager of Portugal, and he's got probably the most high profile, him and Messi, the highest profile players in the world. And also, that's the thing with Portugal. You know, going back to when we were kids. They weren't a team that were expected to do particularly well, but now they win in major tournaments. They won the Euros, and in the World Cups, they're expected to do really well, Portugal.
Yeah, and that changes the psyche, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
The one thing that, going back to Ronaldo, one thing he can handle is that. He's shown it all his life. You know, he can handle the big stuff. He can handle the big noise. He can handle the pressure. So
Real Madrid, didn't it, for years?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't think he'd be unfazed by it. You know, I think he can handle it. But it's whether he's just got the edge, I suppose. You know, he's 40. I think he's 40. Yeah, 40, right. So, can you still handle it physically?
And what happens to
you know the level he's been playing?
You've played football at a high level, right? You know, sort of, you know, what we'd call the championship level now.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not that old. It was the actual championship.
Yeah, the championship. Division 2. Yeah. No, but you know, you can tell us people who've played. What happens to you in your late 30s? Is it speed? Is it dynamism? What changes?
It is changing because obviously the background support now is massively advanced. You know, even when I was finishing playing the last sort of 4 or 5 years, I remember being at Millwall with a really good squad of players there. We had dietitians in; they were fantastic. I was the leanest, the fittest I'd probably ever been when I was at Millwall. So that is now taking care of players a lot longer. But I'm not really on about that. I mean, look at him; he looks amazing. He does, yeah. Like, I'm on about that edge, the psychological edge it is to be the best and to be top and to be sharp. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not just the physicality; it's in the right moment of the mental side of things. You know, the top performers in the world. You know, they talk about this flow. Can you get him back in that flow state? You know, when he's free. And the noise often affects that. So it'd be interesting to see whether physically I think he can do it. But that edge, you know, he's been playing at a level where it's so comfortable, you know, over there. He's not playing at the top level. You know, a lot of these players play top level all the time, and then they turn the World Cup, they're on it. Maybe he's just losing that kind of edge, just that little game.
I tell you what'll spur him on though is Messi having that game and scoring a hat trick.
That's annoying him. God, I don't know either of them, but I bet you that's annoying him. That little fella, he's decent, isn't he?
There is that great story about him there with the Manchester United players are saying, "Who's this Messi?" Then all the rest of it, and they having a go at him. Apparently, he turns around, he's ripped. He goes, "But has he got a body like this?"
No, that's right. Yeah. Messi does not have this. Yeah, look at it there. That's a brilliant story. Yeah, I know that one. It's a brilliant story. That.
So, but that's what makes great. When Ali Fraser, that's what makes great rivalries. You've got to have that. You know,
his Lego character is still not as good as mine either. I put it out there. I put it out there. You have a look.
Just before we go to break, if you've got an opportunity, go to Sean's social media. He's on Instagram. He's Dyche Official, and have a look at his.
Or just Google it.
It's the best Lego character I've ever seen.
I know, and you see, he's got a beard and massive rugged there and everything. It doesn't look the same, but mine is super.
And they've done you nice face and nasty face.
They have. They've done me angry manager face and sort of less angry manager face. If you turn their head round, it's genius.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it is. You turn their head round. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I thought it was two different ones. Just a quick shout out. Happy Father's Day to Robert Moore in Calverley from his kids, Ari and Lever. He's watching live now. So hello, Robert. And happy Father's Day to you. We'll be talking about Scotland next.
You mentioned Perisic. They've got players in their side. Modric, you know, they're the wrong side of 35, right? These players have been in their team for a long, long time. And we're not struggling, but the first 45, I'm watching it thinking, how is this happening again?
But also, you've got to think, right? I get what you're saying, but also, there's going to be a few nerves kicking about.
Yeah.
Right? These guys, as you said there, have been around for such a long time, so they just understand, they're comfortable where they are. Modric, Perisic, these guys, they just know what it takes to get to that to get to that level. But it's. I think there's a lot of boxes that Thomas Tuchel would have ticked. I thought the team selection he got wrong. But in my personal,
who do you get wrong?
I would have started Rashford.
Yeah, me too.
And Mark Gahey has to play. He has to play.
Talk about what you're saying outside about the balance of the centre halves.
Because John Stones, he naturally plays on the right hand side, right? And it's Maguire that usually plays on the left when it was those two. When you move John Stones out to the left, naturally he doesn't go that way to Nico O'Reilly, which is why he barely touched the ball. He couldn't go that way.
And Anthony Gordon hardly received the ball in the first
Exactly.
half.
Mark Gahey naturally plays on the left side. So he's used to receiving the ball from the right-hand side and going out to the left. But that just wasn't there, which is why we hardly saw anything down that left-hand side. But yeah, I would have started Mark Gahey and I would have started Rashford for sure. They would have been my first two not on the team sheet, but they're the two that I would have started.
So you would have started with Rashford on the left. What about the other side? Would you have started with Noni?
Yeah, probably, because Saka, I'm not sure. I don't know how fit Saka is.
Okay. Looked good when he come on, though.
Looked really good. Looked like hungry.
Yeah.
But that's a good problem you've got. But at the end of the day, the quality shone through second half. Even though there were moments towards the end of the second half, before Rashford scored, I was thinking, oh my goodness, they're on top again. They're starting to move the ball. They're getting into their rhythm. Their substitutions made a big difference. But then Rashford comes on and just does what he does.
Yeah.
The sharp turn, the finish.
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a problem that first 45 were a bit whiffy because
look at France.
I was just about to say, look at France. I mean, they had a rocket up their backside. They were completely different side in the second half.
Mbappe. Told you about him, didn't I? I said, how often do I sit you
Write his name down. He's going to be a player.
I told you that, Mbappe.
Yeah.
World Cups, he's different.
We were talking on yesterday's show actually about after that night where Haaland and Mbappe and Messi all scored, Messi getting a hat-trick. It was, is there more pressure on Harry Kane to step up? And I think he stepped up last night.
On your shadow, and I've watched it grow, and it's shaking and it's thrilling me. And let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know about all the
Another Scottish anthemic
superb
song there. Now, first we do all things Scotland this half, so or this quarter. So we now get an update by Burger King.
Scotland Camp Update on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction. Delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
We've also got a proper expert coming in. Siobhan's here. Siobhan Hearn. Siobhan, how you doing? You all right?
Hi, Johnny. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Very good,
Hi,
thanks.
Sean.
Hiya. How you doing? You good? Yes. We just talking about Scotland.
Yeah, good, thank you. All good.
Good. So we're going to talk about Scotland. How are you feeling?
Yeah, good. Good, to be honest. I mean, we're back here in Charlotte. I'm just outside the team hotel. This is where base camp is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So there's a lot less happening here, shall we say. It's that bubble that they talk about when you're at a major tournament. The guys got to stay in Boston yesterday a little bit later than we did, just to see their family and friends, and then through back here to North Carolina to our base camp here in Charlotte. So we're back in camp this morning in a couple of hours' time. We've got an open training session, see how everybody's doing after that game against Morocco. Morocco, and then we'll speak to Jack Hendry and assistant manager Stephen Naismith.
Shaban, I mean, it must be hard for you seeing what's happened in Boston this last week as well, where, I mean, I noticed an email or a letter went out today from the head of the Boston Red Sox, the Fenway Group, saying they're the greatest set of fans we've ever had in the city in any sport.
Incredible,
so
yeah.
It's amazing, the reputation of the fans and sort of the way that they've endeared themselves to the Americans and the way Americans have loved them as well.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like they actively, I think Scotland fans go out of their way to be the best that they can be. You know, they really want to, I think, impress cities. I've been noticing, you know, the Japanese team are like famous for cleaning stadiums and leaving their dressing room as clean as you possibly can. Now the Scotland fans are going around cleaning up the litter and all that kind of stuff. We were never known for that ever, but now we've got to this tournament. It's like how can they like us even more? Pick up your litter. It's really, really basic. Everybody's just had the best time, and I keep saying it on the station, guys, and sorry if I sound like a broken record, but it's not an overhype. It was a full invasion of Boston, and everybody, including the locals, have just had the best time. So I don't want it to end here. There's a chance we might be back there if we get to the round of 32, so it feels like the Boston love affair isn't over yet.
You know, when you're out there, it feels to me, just a sense over here is like a sort of goodwill about the whole tournament, actually. It seems to be a good energy, like a positive energy about it all. You know, there doesn't seem to be, you know, some of the World Cups in Europe and that, you know, there's been like an under sort of current of sort of, I don't know, like a bad feel to it sometimes. But it seems, you sense from here anyway, from everything we've seen, there's a good feel out there. Is that what it's like when you're there?
Definitely, Sean. I mean, it is absolutely magic, and everybody here is so helpful. It's funny, we were talking about kind of different cultures and how different cultures are viewed all around the world and whatever like that. And you know, when you compare like being in England to being in Scotland, we get called dour Scots, but I think Scots are like so friendly and go out their way to be helpful. When you come to America, they're sometimes mugged off, aren't they? A little bit, being a bit too much, a bit too cheesy, but they go out of their way to be helpful and be friendly and make an effort with you, and I think that's been part of it. You know, I think the American people aren't getting enough credit for how welcoming they've been to the soccer fans.
Nicely done, Shaban. So the team, I mean, first result, you got the win, the most important thing, you know, scruffy win, doesn't matter. Then lost against Morocco. Me and Sean, we're showing our age here now, Shaban, but we remember Scotland playing Brazil in 1982 when they really annoyed them, when David Neary toe poked the ball and they had to go to Jimmy Hill. Do you remember that?
Harsh.
Yeah. But, you know, a big game against Brazil. I mean, what's the mood like?
It's good. It's high. I think the way we ended that game, and I've been listening to everybody's assessments of it. I was there, I was pitch side. You were right in about it. You know, you could see the sweat, you could hear them breathing. You were that close to the action. I thought we were excellent in the second half. And as Steve Clark said it, you know, it's not about the referees. We've got to focus on what we can control. And I think we did a mighty good job of controlling ourselves in the second half. In front of goal, it's not good enough though. You know, we've never scored a big goal at a major tournament. I mean, John McGinn said it himself. It wasn't his finest goal against Haiti, but it was a moment that we all went, okay, great, we've got our 3 points. We've not had a win at a World Cup since 1990, so we'll tick off the win. Perfect. I think against Morocco, we were so bad in front of goal, but everywhere else I think we really kind of stepped up, apart from that first 70 seconds of the game when we all know what happened there. That wasn't good enough. You can't turn up to a major tournament and lapse in concentration in the first minute of a game. They know that. They know what they've got to do. I think the referee really let us down. The team are not focusing on that at all. Even in the aftermath, I spoke to Tierney, I spoke to Kenny McLean. They said, look, we can't control that now, we've got to focus on us. So I love that they've got that attitude. I think if we can take that second half performance to the Brazilians, we're certainly not going to get away with anything, because Brazil's front line against our back line, I think, says a lot. It's going to be a hard night, but if we can control what we can, be calm in possession and have that moment of magic maybe from Ben Gannon-Doak or Scott McTominay, you never know, we could get a point and then we're in the last 32, we're all but in it. I mean, we could still be in it now.
Yeah,
I mean, I
was just thinking about a magic goal, though, Sean. I mean, I'm really going to show my age here, Shaban, but Archie Gemmill, 1978 against Holland, one of the great World Cup goals ever.
Unbelievable.
Do you know what I mean? There's even, like, you know, he's
seen in Trainspotting when he relives it.
Seen in Trainspotting. There's a play about it. There's all kinds of, like, a massive part of the squad.
He was my coach at Forest.
Was he?
Yeah,
of course he was. Yeah.
He could nutmeg you. You know, like when you thought, as the ball just sucked in to get through your legs, he could see a nutmeg like no one I've ever played it. Honestly, unbelievable.
Very, very good player.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Tell me, he's an unbelievable player.
This weight of history Shaman, where, you know, this whole thing about, they've never got through past the opening qualifying rounds, all the rest of it. Does that weigh heavy, or have you just got to think, you know what, we've just got to put that behind us? We've got the best possibility here. I mean, FIFA have almost done it, so it's impossible not to get third. So you've just got to think, as long as we get
Brazil
out. Brazil are not the Brazil of even
not how we grew up.
Certainly, what Brazil, not the Brazil of like 10, 20 years ago. They're not the Brazil of that era, really, are they?
Brazil are the best team ever, guys. What are you talking about? Brazil can win it. They're people's favourites.
Of course, yeah, sorry, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I will say, I think they'd also been underestimated ever so slightly. When you look, for example, the first 20 minutes against Morocco, my thoughts were watching that, my head was in my hands and I was like, oh my God, I know it's disrespectful and I don't like saying it, but we almost looked Sunday League against elite, right? But we got ourselves together and then we showed that we do have good players, we have our strengths. When we calm it down and we all focus, we're actually a really good side. But we ain't Brazil, we ain't Morocco, so why are we thinking that we can go there and give people this win, this incredible win at a World Cup that we've never ever had before? So why do we expect to have it now? Because these teams are slightly lesser than what they used to be. This is our first times here since '98. So I think we just need to kind of calm down a bit. And I've really had to check myself in the last week anyway, because against Haiti, I said it so many times, 3-4 goals, we'll absolutely smash them. And then Haiti at their first World Cup, seeing us as their target to try and get 3 points as well. So, you know, there's a lot to, I think our expectations are very, very different, obviously, to England's, obviously different to Brazil's. Brazil's are contenders, so is Morocco, and so is England. Scotland, our ambition was to get a World Cup win. We've got that now. With that World Cup win, and still losing these last two games, Brazil and Morocco, there's a chance we still go through. So if the gods are on our side, where we are one of the best, finish in third place, we will go through despite having 2 losses. Say it, we do lose against Brazil. I don't expect us to go there and wipe the floor with them, but I would love a magic moment. I think we've got the capabilities to have a Archie Gemmill moment with the players that we've got, like McTominay, like McGinn, like Robbo, like Ben Gannon-Doak. It's just our group is actually really hard. You know, we've got 2 teams inside the top 10 ranked teams in the world, so it's not going to be a walk in the park, that's for sure. But the spirits are high. There's a lot of belief that we are going to the round of 32, even if it doesn't go our way against Brazil. But a point, guys, a point and a big moment, you know, to reward the Tartan Army for the behaviour, the way they've carried themselves across the States. For Steve Clarke, he deserves that as well. The team deserve that, of course, but I think to reward the Tartan Army, who have been outstanding, with a goal, a magic moment at a World Cup, would be the cherry on top of a cake of what already has been a magical tournament for Scotland.
Brilliant. Well, Shaban, we're all rooting for you. I mean, it'd be great if they can get through. Great for the country, great for everybody, really. So yeah, good luck with that, and thanks for joining us, Sean. Yeah, they've got. I mean, like, they've still got a chance of getting through, even if they lose, which is amazing.
Yeah. I
mean, just got to almost put it out their mind, really. But
what Shaban was saying there, you know, and I know it's an old classic from Football Manager. It's not easy to win football matches.
No,
it's not easy. It's everyone. You know, it's like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? It's not easy. Spain showed that the other day. You know what I mean? It's not easy to win football matches. You know, even with the prowess of some of these players out there.
Yeah.
Teams have a right, you know, to challenge you. They have a right to play against you. Like saying that, you know, team, no one knows much about them. It's not, you don't just turn up and just win and that's it, end of story. Of course, sometimes it works like that, but
it's the most difficult thing. I always remember when, you know, when I was on the board at Forest, and the late, great John Robertson used to say to me, you know, the hardest thing in the world, son, is to win a football match. Because you know what? The other team, they really want to win as well.
Yeah, of course,
Because it affects the whole football club or country, doesn't it? You win, everything changes on the Monday morning. Do you know what I mean? So everybody wants to win.
And she was also saying there about, you know, we've got to do better in the box, we've got to do better with chance, we've got to... That's the toughest bit of the job.
Yeah.
That's the toughest thing in the game. Yeah. You know, you find strikers who can score goals. It's the toughest thing in the game worldwide.
Yes.
And a front two team is a massive, massive thing. There's so many good teams at the World Cup and down the years, and I'm not as good at the history of it as you, to be fair, Johnny, but there's so many teams, when they look back down the World Cup, very rarely the team that win it, you know, have no front to the team.
That's absolutely true. We've got some shout-outs here, Sean. Yeah, so let's have a look. Sean in Belfast is saying, I'm not surprised by the love-in between Scotland and Boston. Boston is a city with massive Irish heritage, that's right. The Irish, like the Scots, travel well wherever they go. As an Irishman, I'm back in my fellow Celts. Come on, Scotland. That's quite nice. So let's have a look. I got a belt here, Sean. Good afternoon, Johnny. Loving the show again. Thank you very much. Good to be back. It is good to be back. A nice Father's Day shout out to the Forest old lads today. Would be great, please, mate. And to all the granddads at the Wednesday morning coffee club. Of course, no problem at all. Tell them from Jim, God Country, 50 miles north of the town. They all know it well. If there are any tunes on offer, we are playing some more Scott. And thank Sean for his service for Forest.
Oh, bless him.
The old lads.
Short but sweet.
That's very good. So that's all I got to say as well. Thanks to Burger King for the update.
Absolutely.
Scotland Camp Update on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app.
Right, okay, so let's have a look. Yeah, so what we're going to give the shout, because I'm getting a few people sort of messaging saying, what's your favourite World Cup, blah, blah, blah. We've gone with Spain 82, right? But you remember before that, and what people Argentina 70. What do we remember?
Ticker tape.
The ticker tape.
Kempes and ticker tape.
Yes.
That's it, as a kid, because that was my first real... I couldn't absorb it, but the 82 was the first one I remember properly when you're into it.
Great. Well, we've got to go to a break, but I'm leaving it out there. So let us know your favourite ever World Cup, because me and Sean will be talking about Spaniard 82.
We were just chatting off air about Terry Venables and Euro 96. You're getting Euro 96 vibes already.
Well, I'm getting England-Holland Euro 96 vibes, 100%, because, I was very fortunate enough to know Terry, as I'm sure you two did. And, I asked him about that game. We used to do a show together on Saturdays on the radio about football. And, he said, I just threw 7 forwards on. Everybody could play in attack. Even the sort of back four, we were very sort of front-footed thinking. And he said, don't worry about how many goals they're going to score. Just score more goals than them. And then you have them on the back foot and they can't get out of their own half anyway. Yeah. And you were there for England-Holland at Wembley Stadium. I was there when the scoreboard said England 4, Holland 0. I mean, they did score a goal, but we did see 4-0 for a while. And last night was very, very reminiscent of that, and they talk about total football. That was as close as we got. And, I'm fascinated by managers and what they say and what makes the difference between an Alex Ferguson and an Arsene Wenger and a Thomas Tuchel compared to the others. Ancelotti, I know you're a big fan of, and he's been on the show.
Yeah.
And it's great, isn't it? Because Harry, the thing about Tuchel is he's just saying what he thinks, even right before the game. He's saying, well, we're going to do this because they're going to do that. And if they're watching, they know what he's going to do. But he's so organised in a way that's sort of, quite off-putting for the opposition, I would imagine. And then Harry Kane does a Thomas Tuchel after the match, because he tells you exactly what Tuchel told them at half time, which was basically, lads, I thought we had a deal here. You're just you're gonna play like you don't care, like you're back in the playground, and in the first half you didn't do that. Boys, we had an agreement. Can we just go out and do that? And they all went, oh yeah, we remember. And they just went out, and it was just a different game. And I was, as you can hear, I was very excited about it. We all were very excited about it. And this morning there's this whole sense of relief and release, and now we're looking forward to next week and Tuesday, and it's like, it might be coming home.
Jonny Owen and Sean Dyche here on the World Cup weekender on talkSPORT, the world's biggest and best sports radio station. Just playing Wishing I Was Lucky by Wet 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 there. The Scots will certainly be wishing they're lucky against Brazil. See, I've got a bit of themes for all these.
Hey, I know. A bit
of thought behind it. We've got some English classics coming up with Sean later on. He picks them out as well, I've got to say. Now it's time to look ahead to the day with talkSPORT Bet ambassador Ryan.
The Playbook with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com for all the latest odds and offers. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Ryan, how you doing?
Very, very good. How are you both? I'm joining you from New York today. So I think that's, which way do I lean? That way. That's the World Trade Center behind me. The New York, it looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm feeling like a very lucky boy this morning, gents.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, ask for a burger with tomato.
A burger, yeah.
A hot dog. A hot dog. That's a terrible New York accent. Do you know what I mean? That'll
No,
be
do you know what? It's not.
Go on, mate.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad that they basically do. I look so red. Anil, the producer, has just said to me, "You look red as a lobster." I promise you, boys, I don't look that bad. I've caught the sun, but not that bad. But I tell you what, you do walk down the road, and it's I'm walking over here. Hey, I'm move over here. It is literally like that. So I think those impressions were spot on, lads.
New York. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
New York. Let us know talk to us about the biggest talking points today.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll take you through two of the biggest games of the day, and then we'll talk a little bit of England, really. So Spain, Saudi Arabia, that's the big one, isn't it? And they went into this tournament as favourites, but that was such an underwhelming game from them, wasn't it? It just didn't quite click. I mean, and in terms of their World Cup prowess, the last two World Cups they've gone out in the last 16. The one before that they went out in the group, so they really need to get moving. But get this, lads. The favourites here doesn't quite cover it. 1-16. The term odds on doesn't do it justice. Today, the odds and talkSPORT bet are suggesting that they should absolutely give them a whooping. Now, Saudi Arabia are as huge as 28-1. I was saying this yesterday about Ghana. That's magic of the cup stuff. That's non-league stuff. 28-1. That is massive. And even the draws 10-1. In terms of what you can look at, all the big players have got going in this tournament. So Yamal, you have to believe at some point, even though his age, I think that disrespects him a little bit, the age conversation, because of how talented he is. He's 13-5 to score first today, or 4-1 to score 2 or more. So I'll look there. If you want the outside bet, gents, Saudi Arabia are 11-2 to go one up at any point. So if you think they might start well, 11-2, talkSPORT bet will pay you out as soon as they go one up. So that's a pretty good bet. Now, in terms of Belgium, they're the next big game here today, and they're playing Iran. And for all the headlines around Iran, they're going to have to get their heads straight. But they're 7-1. They're 7-1 outsiders to win today. And Belgium, I mean, they're odds on as well. Not as overwhelmingly so as Spain, I have to say, but they're odds on, and the draw 7-2. For all of his criticism, Lukaku, he scores goals. He scores goals. He knows where that net is. And that's my pick of the day for him to score. He's about evens right now. So Lukaku to score for Belgium is where I'm going to go. But lads, I can't not defer to Sean's knowledge here. I want to have a quick look at England versus Ghana, but maybe the goal scorers. There's all the talks about the starting 11. Is it an unchanged squad? Is it as important about who finishes the game, Sean, as opposed to who starts it? Because people are saying Rashford should start. He's 31-20 to score. Do you start him, or do you think, no, that was a great impact off the bench, let's keep it as it is?
The one thing, when I named my team before the last game, the one thing I didn't factor in, which is not like me, but I'm out of practice a little bit, I'm a bit rusty. No, it's the fact with Gordon, I put him in my team, but of course he had a massive move, massive things going, life-changing, all of it.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably, when I look back on it, I'd probably leave him out, but not because I don't think he's good enough by any means, by the way, because I put him in my team, but give him a break for this one, I would. So therefore, I would go with Rashford. I'd go with Saka. I don't know the true fitness inside stuff from the camp, so I don't know the true fitness levels of Saka, but he'd play for me. They'd probably be my obvious changes. I don't think, I'd probably play Gay. So I'd go with Gay, Stones for me, and I'd probably go with Rashford and Saka. I think that'd be my change. But look, not because they were poor, not because Madueke was poor or anything like that. Just gives you that bit of freshness, gets them involved, gives them that bit of match time and that sort of game feel. So I think that's important as I strongly would imagine that we'll get through the round. So, through the first round, sorry. So I think that's why I do it as well. Make sure everyone's on the toes. Make sure you're keeping people sharp, and ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and for context there, Saka's 6-4 and Rashford 31-20. That's a better price than Watkins and Tony. So that could be the way to go if you're building an England bias bet builder, which I'm sure a lot of people back home will be. But no, that's really interesting, Sean. Thanks for that.
No worries. Good man, Ryan. Enjoy New York. I hope like saying, and it looks lovely. It's very warm and hot in London as well, but it looks even sunnier out there.
We'd
need factor 50 on out there, wouldn't we?
I'm getting burnt in here
under these lights. Thank you, Ryan. I mean, it is fascinating because it all comes back to the one player that I always say, I wish he was Welsh, is Harry Kane. I
know, and he looked really sharp.
He did,
a lot. Look, I don't know, I'm not out there, but the temperature thing, I think that helped us the other day. Whether that as a factor as the tournament goes on, we'll have to wait and see. But I thought Kane looked really on it, really alert, really sharp, his body language, everything.
Yeah,
and he played a lot of football, but
yeah,
that noise has changed, doesn't it? This time, you know, every time I took these tournaments, you know, you go, oh, the players are tired, they do this. I haven't really heard a lot about that. And I was commenting the other day on a show with Simon Jordan and Piers, and I was saying to him, I think that's quite interesting that Tuchel did a week, and they was calling it like a really hard week, and yet in the past they would say, why are they doing that? They're tired. And yet Thomas Tuchel, he's gone along and said, no, we're working.
Yeah.
He's wrapped to apparently, you know, give him 4 or 5 really hard days. So that's an interesting twist on it, but it certainly looked right the other day. But
second half, especially.
Yeah, but I do think the temperature will have its part to play in this tournament.
He's definitely doing it right. And that was a look, of course, at the latest odds thanks to talkSPORT Bet, 18+, gambleaway.org. I had to slip that in, Sean, because of course. And up next on World Cup week, I like the name, the World Cup weekend.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Good name. It's time to talk more England with one of the best coaches around, Mr. Sean Dyche.
The Playbook with talkSPORT Bet. Download the app or visit talksportbet.com to see all our latest sign-up offers. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Simon, from Southgate to Tuchel, was this the front-footed difference that you have been wishing?
Oh, definitely. I mean, for a number of reasons, for the reasons that Brad's laid out in terms of the substitutions, from the manner in which this is rock and roll football. This is what we saw with Jurgen Klopp in the second half. Interesting that Tuchel needs to have a reinforcement at half-time, because you would have assumed that that conversation had happened before the game and that they were told to get on the front foot before the game. And England looked quite nervous when they started, and they weren't, for the first 5 or 10 minutes, I thought they weren't really at it. And you know, I think the performance in the second half, I was sitting next to Brad, and he was saying to me, and I think I'm right in quoting him, is that this is the best attacking formation or attacking performance that we've seen in the World Cup so far, in terms of the way that they put it upon the Croatians. Whatever we may have created in the media about how old this Croatian team is, Troy was saying me off air that the average age of the Croatians is 28 and a half, whereas our team is 27. We've been walking around under the impression this is a dad's army, just because you've got Luka Modric. So they're not mugs. You know, I think we could have done better with the goals, but notwithstanding that, you know, whatever lessons we think we need to learn defensively, Tuchel will learn them and they'll make some adjustments. But offensively, if you look at that performance, that is as good as you want an England side to play. It's as good as an England side has played on the front foot for a very, very long time. And you look at it, and 4-2 flatters the Croatians to some extent, because England could have had 6 in the second half. So I think it's a great marker. It's a great start to the tournament. It's what the public will want to see. Tuchel is hiding his light behind a bushel, because I would imagine he was very strong in the dressing room at half-time to wake a few people up, because you saw it, they came out of the traps like men possessed.
Yeah.
You know, they scored the perfect cure to a goal just before half-time is a goal directly after half-time. And that's exactly what England got.
I also thought as well, sorry, I know you've got to go to break.
No problem.
But you know, now you see so many managers say buzzwords. Yeah. And he's talking about being aggressive, being on the front foot. He actually means it, doesn't he? You get that sense of, when he say we're on the front foot and be brave, if we make this mistake, it's on me. It's not on you, lads. So I think when a manager's that aggressive in what he says and believes it, it's easier for the players there, because you know, ultimately, if we fail, we've all failed, and he's not going to throw me under the bus.
If there's one thing Brazil loves more than samba and sunshine, it's football. football, or as they call it, futebol. And trust me, this love story goes way back. It all started in 1884 when a young Brazilian named Charles Miller returned from England aged 21, carrying a pair of footballs and a Hampshire FA rulebook. He was basically the original influencer, bringing back trends from abroad. And just like that one mate who insists you have to try their new obsession, Miller convinced everyone to give this little English sport a go. Spoiler alert, it caught on. The entire nation fell head over boots for the game. And fast forward a few decades, it was time for Brazil to start playing in the World Cup. Then came 1958, the year a 17-year-old kid named Pelé showed up and said, "Don't worry, I got this." Brazil won its first World Cup and respectively put down its mark on the global football stage. From there, Brazil kept adding stars to the jersey. 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, 2002, making it the only country with 5 World Cup titles and the only country to participate in every tournament. Not that they like to brag or anything. Okay, maybe a little. And the style? Pure magic. Jogo bonito, the beautiful game. It became Brazil's signature. Think dazzling footwork, joyful play, and the occasional move that makes you wonder if gravity just took the day off. Today, football isn't just a sport in Brazil. It's part of the national identity. From street games played with anything even slightly round to packed stadiums exploding with colour and noise, Brazil lives and breathes football. So, the next time you see that iconic yellow jersey, just remember, it all started with one guy, 2 footballs, and a nation ready to fall in love.
Got some good bands and good songs, Scott.
Saw them at Rock City.
Did you?
Yeah, really good.
Excellent, yeah. Proper single that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, proper tune.
Proper tune. This is Jonny Owen and Sean Dyche on the World Cup weekend. We're playing some Scottish anthems. Sean's got some English ones coming up, so stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about England now together because they got off to a very good start, especially the second half where they sort of won comfortably, but in the end, against a good Croatia team. I mean, they're getting on a bit, that Croatia team.
Yeah, they're not as good as they were 8 years ago.
No, the 2018 World Cup team.
Still good.
Excellent, yeah. So, yeah, Modric felt a bit sorry for him. Was that a penalty? Being honest? When he's looking the other way?
No, it's just...
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get it, because he kicked him.
Yeah.
But his eyes...
I know, but then nowadays they get given, don't they?
They do.
I think not so long ago, actually, I don't think that would have been given, but now they are.
No, I don't think they would have been. And also,
it's a tough call.
The retake of the penalty is because the keeper was off.
What a great line you've just come out when you think about it. Modric, right? He's 40 as well, isn't he? He's 40 and he's playing at World Cup, and you go, you felt sorry for him. I'd love to feel sorry for myself. If I was 40 and I was playing at World Cup finals. I was a legendary player. It's not so bad, you know what I mean? But I know your point, because he is. I remember we drew him in the cup. Harry Redknapp was manager, and it was my first job at Watford. And I said to John Eustace and Johnny Hogg, who were playing in midfield for Watford, I went through their team, and Modric was playing, and I can't remember, it was Bale was playing, and someone else in midfield, and I said, you two, all the best for them. I said, that's it, that's part of the team talk. They just wet themselves laughing. I said, all the best, marking them. What a player.
Yeah.
What a player, Modric.
Yes.
Anyway, back to England.
Just quickly, Spurs had a good team at that point, didn't they? Some players they had.
Proper team, yeah.
They were, weren't they? Unbelievable.
Should have beat them. No, he should have beat him. Harry was brilliant afterwards. He was brilliant, Harry. He said, I can't believe. He said Sean must be, scratching his head how they didn't win.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like Harry. I met him. Interesting enough, Vicky, my wife, I've got to mention it. I've got to say, he mentions his wife.
Your husband. I'm sure your
Vicky
husband.
McClure. She coaches. She's coached the English team a few times on Soccer Aid, and so I've met him. Great guy, great company. And she said to tell us that she's listening at the moment with Martin Compston, who's obviously a big Scotland fan.
Yeah, I met him over in Old Ireland, didn't I?
Yes, of course you met them. They're all listening.
Yeah, we had an Indian.
Listening to the show in Belfast, the Whole of the Line of Duty.
Fantastic group of people as well.
Hello to them. Absolutely. Yes. So England, I mean,
yeah.
I always say, it's interesting for me as a Welshman watching it. The pressure they're under from the media is usually insane. Yeah, it's been pretty good this World Cup. Yeah,
I agree.
It's been much better. I agree. As long as they don't say those 3 words, it's coming on. Just don't say it.
I know.
Don't
just chill
say
out a
it.
bit.
Chill out.
We're still not number 1 draft pick.
I know.
Yet,
yes,
but we're just up the ladder a little bit.
Do you know what it reminds me of a little bit, Sean? The '90 World Cup, which people talk about very nostalgic. But do you remember when there was like a low expectation? Bobby Robson was told he didn't have the job after the tournament. There was worries at that time about hooliganism.
A bit more loved up though.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Well, there was worries about the trouble. Do you remember? So there was all, and the World Cup sort of got this momentum as the tournament went on, and I feel this one's got a touch of that.
Yeah, there's been a bit more, not like reality, I suppose.
Yes.
This one, I think everyone's going in confident, but not in that weird way. Well, we should win it.
Yes.
There's a chance. Yes, there is a chance. Of course. What I would say before we go into the detail of it is, in my opinion, the superpowers that are usually the superpowers
aren't as strong as usual.
Yeah, I don't think they're strong. Doesn't mean they're not strong.
No,
before people start changing my words around. I think we're strong as we have been.
Mm-hmm.
He's picked an older squad. In the past, I think Gareth, who I'm a big fan of, and what he did with England. But a lot of young players constantly almost bringing them through for the next tournament.
Yeah,
looks to me like Tuchel's gone with a bit of an older sort of style player, as in more experienced. There are some young ones, of course, like Riley and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just think the feels. It's about right. I know we say this every tournament, but it's as good as it's going to get for me, for England, this chance.
Yeah.
It's still a knockout tournament, we know that. It's still very difficult, we know that. But I just think the superpowers in the world are not as superpowered as they have been. I don't quite think Brazil are where they have been in the past. Germany's not where they have been in the past. Netherlands, don't get me wrong, looking strong, but not quite,
Yeah, they're not 74 now.
Well, they never won it, have they? So they're probably the strongest side to never win it, actually, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I just think that can play in our favour, but you've still got to win games. It's not easy to win games, and you've got to keep Kane fit.
Yeah.
For me, arguably the best striker in the world at the moment, and you've got to keep him fit.
I think
I'm surprised he played every minute. The other night.
Well, I just think he could be the. I mean, he looks like a different player because he's gone to Bayern Munich. He's won stuff there.
Yeah, and whether or not he's thinking it might be like this might be his last one, you don't know, do you? What he's thinking, because he looked really at it.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, and the way dropping in, getting tackles, and getting blocks. I mean, one of his blocks was fantastic in the box.
Yeah,
and that kind of. I mean, don't get me wrong, fantastic. Everyone you speak to, in the car, I remember Trips was telling me, what a pro.
Yes.
What a pro.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic, outstanding professional.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they all deserve if they can win it, but he deserves it, that's for sure. I'd love him to be.
I've seen him as fans love this, and they love this little bit of insight. I was at a dinner once, I think it was a London football writers' dinner, and he was there. He was playing for Spurs at the time. He was a lot younger then, but he just had time for everybody. And to work a table all the time, and people coming over to you, and it's a skill in itself.
Well,
and he was fantastic with it.
Before he was what he is now, I tried to sign him, and it's a long-winded story. I'll keep very brief. And we met him in Portugal by chance. In family were there, and they were sitting next to us, and I just got chatting with him and his family, and said, "Would you be interested?" I was at Burnley at the time. Rang up, they knew what they were doing, I suppose. They said 7 million. We were like paying, 50 grand, you know what I mean?
So, was it to take him on loan for a bit, was it, or something like that?
No, I was trying to sign him because he'd been on loan, but it hadn't quite worked for him, if you remember. He'd been to Norwich and hadn't quite worked, Leicester and hadn't quite worked. But the reason why I tried to sign him is, and I tell people this story, because it's at Millwall. Millwall can be a tough, brilliant place to play, but a tough place at times. And he handled it. He was only 18, and he went there, he played hard, he scored goals, and every one of the lads I knew there said, what a player this guy is, his mentality and everything. And I spoke to Clive Allen as well, and Clive Allen said he'll find goals. He said he will find goals, but the checkbook at the time weren't big enough.
Well, if anybody can tell somebody who can score goals, it's Clive Allen, because what a player scorer he was.
Different class. Great fan as well.
Yeah. And what was he like when he spoke to him in Portugal? Was he lovely?
Yeah,
he's a big family man, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot younger then. Still with his now wife.
Yeah.
His family, just good, really good people. I'm not just saying it, really good people.
Yeah.
Really level. And he was. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't what he is now then.
Yeah.
He was younger then, and he was just sort of breaking through really.
Yeah.
But like I say, just. I don't know. There's just a thing about somebody when you meet him, the way he handles himself, the way he conducts himself. Even then, And I've met him since. I met his family a couple of times at an awards thing. I think it was a FIFA Ballon d'Or or something like that. Them little ones I get invited to.
But you know, we were talking about earlier on. You need a talisman every World Cup. Every World Cup team that wins has a talisman, right? You know, everybody knows about Maradona and '86, incredible, and and those tournament, Messi in the last tournament. Kane has got that about him where you just need. I mean, it was Gascoigne in '90 in Italy. He was sensational. Obviously, box to box. I'd never seen an English player to pick a ball up and just take people on, and it just made such a difference. And you need that player who's going to be big in a tournament. It'll be, that's why for me, the other team that I do think. If you had to put a gun to my head and say who's going to win the World Cup, I think England will be very close with them. And I've said it from the start, and all my mates have said, you have said it, is France. And something like Mbappe could be that player,
Yeah, I mean, it was a strange thing the other night, though. I can't be honest. The Mbappe one, did the goalies not have their hands on or something? I'm a big fan of goalkeepers.
It was definitely a penalty.
I was a centre back.
Penalty.
Yeah. But I just thought the goal's going down for. Is anyone going to put a hand out there? But anyway, no, he's a fine player as well. There's no two ways about it. But I don't know. Look, I like every Englishman, and we're right to laugh about it because every time a tournament goes, we've got to win this one, But I just get that feeling. You never know. But we've got as good a chance as we've had. That's what I would say, and mainly because we're good, very good. In fact, some of our players, but I just think the others are not as powerful as they once were.
Do you know? Obviously, I did the film Three Kings. About the greatest managers ever: Steen, Shankly, Busby, and they all talk about something. Clough was the same, wasn't it? 'Cause I think Scott Forrest won before they won that incredible run. They won a Texaco Cup or an Anglo-Italian Cup. They all talk about it, and Clough says once they won that cup, it kind of like something happened. Steen talks about Celtic doing it in I think it was '65. They win the Scottish Cup, and he goes, it was like the dam broke for them. I always thought, certainly that game against Italy in the Euros, where listen, we mean you talk about this all the time. Penalties are a toying cost, right? They just are. And we all know that. In that game, England could have won that game, right? And now, where the boy pulls him back, now he'd have gone, right? Football's different. If they'd have won that, I think England would have won a few major tournaments after. I passionately do, and I think because once it does, doesn't it? Yeah,
but that's the original.
Once you win it once, that's the key.
I think that's what's changed so far this tournament. It seems that it's a bit of a lighter load.
Yes,
somehow even the media they don't seem to.
They don't seem so hysterical.
No, it just seems to be slightly calmer. Like the other day, brilliant result, great second half. But it wasn't like we're naturally going to go and win it now.
Yeah.
It was a bit more.
Yes,
I don't know, a bit more level about it all. I hope so because it does help. Whatever people say, players should handle this, they should handle that. Media now is huge in football.
Of course it is.
Huge now.
Well, look at us now, it's a
social media,
multi-billion-pound industry.
Yeah, and I just feel it is a weight to carry. And I think if that weight's slightly lighter, it's still going to be fair. Of course, people got to do their jobs, they've got to give opinions.
Yeah.
Just a quick aside, I've got to put this in. So that awards ceremony, I was there, and it was the Ballon d'Or. And I've got to say this, and it's one of my regrets. I don't regret many things about social media and all that. I had my phone in me because Sabin played, right, and I know them. And I'm catching eyes with Serge and Andy Collins, who's a friend of mine, who's he works right on the deck to warm-up guy, but he's got a lot more than that. He does a radio show, great guy. And when you check eyes right, and I'm looking at Serge, and Serge's looking at him and going, right on the corner of my eye, I can see him. Get on this. Messi, Maradona, Ronaldo. And how I didn't walk over, it was bodyguards, but I was a Premier League manager, for Christ's sake. I should have used it to my advantage and said, can I just have a selfie, right? And I never do this.
No.
And I just said to Serge, I just went into the dressing room afterwards, to say hello to him. And I went, did you see that? And he went, oh my goodness, it's Maradona and Messi. And I went, I know, and I didn't get a picture. I'm gutted to this day. I think, what an idiot. You know what I mean?
I've got the Maradona picture, haven't I?
I know, yeah.
I know, I seen him on the first
episode. Alice Campbell played with him. Alice Campbell tells the same person every single day, and now I'm doing it for him.
Yeah,
he tells someone every day he played football with Maradona.
So, and when he came into it was an after party, and in that room, I swear, Sean was every famous person in Britain, right? From every soap star, Beppe at the time in EastEnders, Anton Deck was in there, Alistair Campbell was a governor. It was all of Britain's sort of society was in there. He walked in, mate, right? And I swear to you, every person jumped up and tried to take a photo of him and was singing Diego. It was like fame beyond fame.
Yeah, you should have seen him at this awards. It was just like you're saying. Everyone's eyes just went whoop.
I know.
And Andy Collins knew when we're looking at each other. And he went, "Is Maradona?" I went, "I know." I said, "Should I go over?" And he went, "No, you can't, can you?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm going to."
I know.
I wish I would have. What a fool!
And so many English.
And Hodgie had his shirt as well.
Would go to him and say to him, the hand, but smile, and he'd laugh with him.
Yeah.
He was, they'd gone from 10 years ago. Oh, ever I seen him? I'd tell him. They'd go over and they'd go, and he'd give him a hug. He was Maradona.
Yeah, it's like legend, proper legend. That word gets thrown around, but he is a proper legend.
Yes.
Was.
Yeah, I know. He He was. I'm funny. Interesting. I've chucked this out about sort of thing. So many people come back about 82, Sean. The 82 Brazil side fell in love with that World Cup in 82. Sajid, that was my favourite World Cup. It was Jack Pringle. My favourite World Cup was Germany 2006. Good World Cup. It was World Cup. I got into football in that tournament. Had everything from the rise of Messi and Ronaldo to Zidane's headbutt. The head.
Oh goodness me! Yeah.
You know, the moments people remember from World Cup. Here's a great one here from Degsy in Nottingham. Hi lads, again Spain 82 for me. My favourite World Cup. England classic Admiral kit. Sean mentioned that your first ever.
I did
England
my
kit.
first ever England kit. Yep.
Brian Robson scoring against France within a minute. I got a great story about that. The Italy-Brazil game. I remember watching that. Rossi when he had the hat trick.
Yep.
Battiston nearly being killed by a German goalkeeper. Schumacher knocked so many of his teeth out.
Yeah.
Broken vertebrae.
Batistuta,
that was it. Yeah. And Tardelli. The Tardelli goal celebration. Degsy, you bang on. These all the stuff we know.
That's fantastic. Has he been reading our minds?
I know you should be. He's been reading. Degsy, you've been reading our notes. That's the way.
I'd say to every talk I do for kids and everything, I always say, forget about dancing, forget about all that when you score a goal. Just watch that celebration. That celebration is the most incredible celebration I've ever seen. Outpouring of true emotion.
There you go. We'll carry on talking on World Cup weekend. More nostalgia, more celebrations, and we'll talk about England's game, and we'll talk about Ghana.
And I were talking about that in great detail on yesterday's show about whether or not he should start, how much game time he should have. Because it's Cristiano Ronaldo, I think there's so much pressure on the manager, Roberto Martinez, to pick him, to start him, etc. What's your view on a situation like that? What do you do, Rio?
Well, Roberto Martinez is paid the money to make this decision, and I think it's the way that he handles that it will be key. I think if he was going to attempt to kind of take Cristiano Ronaldo out of the team, I think it's all about the narrative. I think it's all about approaching him and going, listen, if he thinks this is how I'll do it. We've got a better chance of winning it for you coming on with 30 minutes to go when the opposition are tired, when their limbs are all weary, lactic acid is building up in all these players' legs, and they see Cristiano Ronaldo warming up on the side, and you come on and terrorise them and capitalise on that in the latter stages of the games. Do you think anyone's going to be bothered when you lift that trophy as our captain? No. So here we go. You're going to start some games, but then some you're not going to start. But that's part of the plan. And at 41 years old, I'm sure that Cristiano would understand that because, listen, we all know, Benny, you're the same. When we were getting older, things weren't working as quickly, as smoothly as they once were. But there's no denying the guy's potent. When the ball drops in the box, if you had three players to the top three players in the world for the ball to drop to, he'd be one of the guys you wanted to drop to even still now because he's that potent. He's got almost 1,000 goals. But listen, if it was down to me, I think I would take that same approach I just mentioned there. I'd pull him in and out of games depending on the opponents. And I'd just have to make sure that I talk to him and make sure he understands that. But one thing I would say when I watched him, I think a lot of blame and a lot of people are pointing the finger at Cristiano. I don't think the actual service into him was great either, by the way, or an opportunity to put his way often. I saw quite a few options to play the ball forward, didn't take them options up. And I think if you're going to have him in your team, you've got to find him as often as you can. And they've got...
Jonny Owen and Sean Dyche, World Cup Weekender, hence playing the song Weekender by Flowered Up.
Great tune. But a bit Happy Mondays.
Yes.
Back then, wasn't it?
They were like kind of seen as the London Happy Mondays.
Yeah.
Great video to that as well. It's about 50-minute long.
Yeah.
All about a lad having a weekender.
Yeah, interesting.
A classic 90s weekender, Sean. We're carrying on talking about England. They've got Ghana coming up, of course. We're going to talk a little bit about Ghana, actually, because they've got some excellent players, as we know. But talking about England, another player that came into the tournament under not the pressure, but, there was questions asked about Real Madrid and his form there. But Jude Bellingham, excellent.
He was in my team. I think, honestly, I remember seeing him as a real youngster. What a player. People forget, the biggest thing, and I try and remind fans, not in a patronising way, but I say to him, he's 22,
Yeah.
People forget that about these footballers. They're young guys, and a lot happens in their life. Everyone always goes back to money, but they got money. It doesn't solve everything in your life. I mean, it's an amazing thing to have, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't solve everything. It doesn't take away the pressure. It doesn't take away your inner feeling.
Yeah.
He's still human, he'll know if he's not playing quite well or he's not doing this, he's not doing that. He knows. And I think he just looked free, didn't he, the other night? And I was so pleased for him. I mean, I think he's a top player. He's still got miles to go in his career. You know what I mean? So many things can happen. Positive things can happen. But it's good to see him, like I said, playing with freedom is the best way I can describe it. You know what I mean?
And they're having a bit of for Real Madrid,
it's Real Madrid.
It's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But I mean, he could, he's gone to a club where, winning Champions League is part of their DNA, basically, isn't it?
It's a completely different culture there of players, completely different feel. The Galacticos, and it all goes along with it. And he's young.
Yeah.
Young and impressionable.
Yeah.
It's got to have some kind of effect on you, hasn't it? You'd be super solid as a youngster. I was saying the other day on a chat show, I'm a whopper anyway, but imagine having 500 grand a week in your pocket and you're at Real Madrid. You're going to be a proper whopper. I would have been a proper whopper.
Honestly.
Worse than I am now. I'm a proper maniac. You know what I mean? Imagine it. I mean, we get that. He's a human being.
It's a great point.
I just think it's brilliant to see him just playing with that bit. I will say, just as a bit of tactical input, in my opinion, having the anchors there, because Elliot Anderson's good at doing all the ugly. He's a good player, but I'm not doing him down. Very good player, but he do the ugly stuff, the hard yards, press, get a shoulder in, win it back. One of the best I've seen him win it back without thunderous tackles and that. Anderson, honestly.
Yeah.
And then that kind of mix in there, I think that maybe gives him a bit more freedom.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it just looks like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that anchor with him. It just frees everything up a bit knowing he's there, and maybe that's going to be a positive.
Every great team ever, domestically and internationally, had that dynamic. Sean, you're absolutely right. The people like saying you're right, talk about derogatory, Deschamps was a water carrier and that's why Zidane.
Imagine that.
But it's ridiculous. I know, Deschamps. But it's a nonsense, I mean, we always reference the great Forest team had Ian Bowyer. They all talk about how important Ian Bowyer was because he'd break up the play, win it back, and pass it forward. Those Roy
Keane.
People
forget. Don't get me wrong. You play by the way.
Yeah.
But doing all the hard yards, the ugly side of the game to make sure they're a dominant force, and I think Anderson can not maybe yet, but he's maturing into that style of player.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs all the fame of it all, if you know what I mean, all the beautiful stuff. He does all the nitty gritty, but he does it really, really well. And I hope he can keep doing it for England and mature because he's still young himself.
Yeah.
Mature into that international scene.
Yeah.
Because that's really, I mean, there's, they come across the big guns with all due respect. This round is not the big guns yet.
No.
That's the only question I've got against Tuchel. Not against him, but he's doing a great job so far. But the point is, they've not really come across anyone superpowered yet.
Yes.
So that's going to be the next
and
test, I'm sure.
So Ghana next, and let's have a little chat about them. They've got Semenyo's a big player, isn't he?
Another fine season,
And fine season. You've got sort of AU up front. He's playing with Leicester. And he got, what's the other boy? The boy who went from West Ham to Spurs. Kudos, isn't he? Yeah. So they've got players who have a certain sort of profile. They're not going to be, and nobody's easy in the World Cup.
Alex Iwobi as well.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Great lad, great pro, way better player than you'd think. Not that he's not a good player, but sort of got a few question marks over him. But what a good player.
Yes,
they've got some talent without a shadow of a doubt. And it's still the World Cup. You were mentioning, when we were chatting off air, about the surprise packages. No, not that Ghana are a surprise package. I'm not doing them down, but you're not sure he's a World Cup game. Yeah. But I do think on paper, these are the games that we've got to win. This way, if you're going to go and win the tournament, you've got to get. It's hard to explain, but you've got to keep that winning edge.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and keep the momentum of winning.
Yes.
You said about Argentina, of course, first game and all that.
Yeah.
But once you're winning, after such a good start, you want to keep that feeling.
Yes, momentum, isn't it? And it's interesting, I was just thinking about sort of like that thing in 1990 when England played Cameroon, and there's the famous one with Roger Miller.
Of course, Roger Miller.
But nobody, they just sort of came from nowhere, and they were a really good team. And there was that game where England sort of, they won 3-2, but it was a ding-dong
team
battle,
bond and
wasn't
that team mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's vitally important, and it does feel that sort of chemistry feels right so far for England.
Yeah.
I'm not in the camp, obviously, but it just seems right.
Yes. And let's have a chat about that then, because you're very good on this. We talk about we've had so many people message about the Spain 82, because they must remember that. It's like, it's a Kuwait walking off the pitch the game against France after a spectator blew a whistle. So like there's all these things that happen. And I remember my father bought, it's so extravagant, a little black and white portable for the kitchen, so that when we were in their tea time we could watch the football, right? And I remember Brian Robson scored. He scored, I think, within under a minute against France in Bilbao for England. And France were a really good team in 82. They're the team that sort of Germany beat in that semi-final. And England didn't lose that World Cup, Sean. Can you believe that? We got Tony Woodcock coming in, who was in that squad and played in the last game against Germany. We'll talk about that. You could go to a World Cup, not lose a game and still go out. But how many teams were in that World Cup, Sean, in 1982?
Well, we were just talking about 24. Now there's 48.
So double the amount of teams.
It's mad, isn't it?
And Wales still can't qualify.
we were just, I'm telling our wonderful listeners, we were just chatting about it. We were shocked, weren't we? I went, my goodness, 24 teams. There's now 48.
48.
It's mad, isn't it? That is crazy.
I can't believe we're not there with the team that we've got. Like,
Welsh Wales, I love Welsh Wales.
I mean, but look at the foot. Up front, we were about Brennan Johnson, Dan James, David, the boy from Dybrook, Harry Wilson, good forward, and you just think, if we'd have just got past Bosnia, and penalties, though, like I said, in time cost, we could have done all right out there. We'd have done, not bad, but it's just.
Did you say time cost? You said coin toss.
For penalties.
Coin toss.
What did I say? I always get something wrong.
Coin toss. I'm not quite sure. You're getting your words up mixed.
A coin toss.
I think you did.
I always do one, don't I?
Coin toss.
Coin toss. Yeah. But I mean, the big thing for England, I suppose, is you keep winning because the theory is you get a slightly easier way through there because you play teams that would have finished third.
Seeded,
so that's important to them as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the main thing for me is to get off to a fly, which we did. Not just the result. Of course, the result is the massive thing.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier about Scotland, now you do it, it's getting it done. But I do think the positivity of the second half, particularly. First half, a little bit rusty, but I know he's bad. Just a bit off. Second half.
Yeah.
Really, really strong. So you want that feeling to continue.
Brilliant. Okay, listen, just before we go, we're just going to do a bit of self-congratulations here. This is from Alan, who's a Celtic fan in Scotland. Thank you, Alan. Brilliant show. Great stories and chat, Jonny and Sheen. New dream duo found for talkSPORT. There you go.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
We like Alan.
See what that produces in the future.
Stay with us.
Well, we're talking about Arsenal because the press are talking about Arsenal.
Squeezed Arsenal into a World Cup show.
You're about to hear. Are you Arsenal in disguise? In the Daily Mail. Yeah, we're going there.
Who's written that? Is that you? Is that by Laura Cook Francis?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's my first line in the Daily
well
Mail.
Done. Congratulations.
The Nation joins Gunners fans in praise of Rice's corners.
Oh, come on. This is... Benty and I were out hobnobbing with the Rich and Famous last night, or maybe Rich and Shameless, and we were talking to Piers Morgan.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And he asked the same question about Declan Rice's corners, and I'm like, he's just taking the corner, the fella.
Mate, no.
I love Declan, you know that.
Hey,
but unless you've got Harry Kane running onto it, a corner's only as good as the finish.
No, look at Arsenal doing all season, and people have criticised us for that.
You just bullied goalkeepers, just smashed goalkeepers out of the way.
That's so right. So the hypocrisy here is loud and clear. In the Daily Mail, which I've just messed up there, they're calling it dark arts in praise of the dark arts that England have employed at corners, which we've been very vocal about.
We're not doing those corners at the World Cup.
Yeah,
Declan's doing outswingers.
Did you see the amount? So Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm saying, but when it's an in-swing, everyone's smashing into keep. These are out-swings. Harry Kane's running onto them.
Now, all the blocks, I saw the blocks the other night, England.
Yeah, so just to be clear, corner's good, but corner's not good when Arsenal do it. In-swing are good, out-swing are bad.
Unless Harry Kane's on the end.
Okay, so safe to say, according to you, and I think I speak on behalf of Arsenal Nation here, I'm not allowing you to enjoy us having corners, if that's all right. So as far as you're concerned, it was 3-2.
I'll speak on
right?
the rest of the nation,
Please
right? And I don't like your attitude.
I love it.
Yeah, I the hypocrisy.
No, here's what's going to happen.
Yep.
So you, of course, won't remember, and neither will I. But in 1966, when England won the World Cup, right? Jeff Hurst scored 3 and Martin Peters scored the other one. And Bobby Moore lifted it. And West Ham, for years, were like, West Ham won the World Cup. And this is exactly what you're doing now with Arsenal.
It is exactly what we're doing.
Right.
But
Declan Rice took a corner. Now, I love Declan, so I don't want to say this, but out of everyone that played, who got the lowest marks?
You don't believe that?
I don't believe that.
Declan was very good.
I know he was. But it's Harry Kane. It's Jude Bellingham.
The delivery, it's all about the delivery. There's no point Harry Kane being there if the delivery is not on point.
No. Great.
Yes, Jonny Owen here with Sean Dyche on the World Cup weekend. A strong start there from Sean for English songs.
Cheers.
Kasabian.
Fourth Finsbury.
Yeah.
Dragging you along, I think.
You are, yeah, I'm going to go. A great one we have from John, the Happy England fan. Have you two been on the pop? No, John, but we will be later.
Will. Yeah, I was going to say. 90 minutes each.
Yeah, give us an hour and a half. Yeah. Good man, John. Got one of my favourite people on the planet now. Gary Stringer.
You always tell me what a guy.
What a guy. Lead singer of Reef, of course, and a massive Wolves fan. So we want to talk about that this week. There's been a bit of domestic news with Wolves surprisingly replacing their manager. Gary, how you doing, pal?
I am doing great, boys. What's not to like? The sun is shining. We got a World Cup. All is well.
Just going to touch on that first, actually. You enjoying England? Great start for you, mate.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's nothing you haven't heard before, but that second half was brilliant. Seemed like no fear, didn't it? I thought in the first half they were giving the ball a bit cheaply away. You know, that from the back third seemed a little bit soft. But yeah, second half, absolutely fantastic. But that's exactly what France were no cop in their first half, were they?
No, that's a good point. Good point, well made. Like Sean just said, I mean, all you can do is win, and then you get the momentum in the second half. You try to take it into the next game.
Amen, amen, and yeah, good luck against Ghana. I just heard you boys talking about it, and I think there's we've got a good chance, especially if we played the way we did that second half. There's absolutely no reason why we can't get something out of that game, if not win it. And onwards.
There you go. There's a happy man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Guys,
is he shirtless there? Is that the old you scratch my back, I'll comb yours? Well, a minute, look at that. Look at that for a rug.
Still got the muscles.
That's a proper rug.
Rock and roll star.
I got the Neanderthal in me, boy.
You and me both.
A little bit of wolf.
You and me both, bro. I'm a caveman.
Talking of wolves,
there you go. Yeah.
Gary is that's a nice segue. That nice link. Gary is of course a massive fanatical Wolverhampton Wanderers fan. Come to stay with me in Nottingham quite a few times to go and see the mighty Wolves. Gary, surprising news in the week though, wasn't it?
It doesn't quite add up, really. I thought the reason we got Rob Edwards in was for the championship. I thought that was the whole point of it. So, it's a bit of a crazy one, really. Cesar Peixoto, I think that's how you pronounce his name, the new guy. I don't know a lot about him. Do you guys? I mean, I think he's been at one club, Gil Vicente, for more than a year. Apart from that, not a lot. So I haven't got too much to offer you on him, but I guess it's just he's got to do something that first season or else he'll be gone. We've had 10 managers now in 13 years, kicking off our little resurgence with, I will say, the wonderful Kenny Jackett.
All
of those years ago. Top man. He got us going the right way back up.
Definitely.
And, if you think 10 managers in 13 years, with 4 of those years being Nuno, who took us up, 2 7th place finishes, and then whatever we did, finished 12th, and he got the boot. You got to remember Raul Jimenez, who how emotional was he the other day when he scored his goal? Absolutely,
player as well, boy.
Yeah. Oh, mate, he's coming. He's coming back, sure.
Yeah.
But he was injured.
My mate Kieran Trippier. It's just unfathomable to me. They sign him, and then the manager goes the next day. Gets sacked the next day. I can't work that one out. I can't be honest. I don't want to stick my face into their business, but it seems odd to me, that one.
Yeah, and I think that's fair enough for Kieran to be a bit queer about that, because you've just signed a deal with a guy who's gone.
And I hope the fans don't take that. I don't think they will. He's a great lad, by the way, but I think you're right. It's nice to hear him say that, because he's not being disruptive to Wolves as a club, not remotely. Kieran Trippier, he's just said, well, hang on a minute, I just signed yesterday.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm the big part of the package was you, the manager. So,
yeah.
And Rob's a good guy as well. I've got a lot of time for him, but he's a strange one, isn't it? If you are sort of stuck in a pickle, like I say, it's nothing against the Wolves club or the fans. He's probably going, what's going on here?
Did you both see as well? I mean, it's one of those things where he wasn't informed directly. His family had seen some stuff on social media about somebody accepting the job, and then apparently he contacted the club, and the story goes that he was told.
I don't know the details about it. Can't be right, can it? In any walk of life, you can't. I've been. This sounds mad, by the way, because I've been sacked. I was going to say I've been fortunate with my sackings. What I was going to say was I've always been treated with respect.
Yeah.
People just treat you properly. Once at Watford there was a little bit of disrespect, but the rest of it I've always been treated with respect. Just do it the right way. Managers know it's part of it is going to come your way as a manager.
Yeah.
You are going to get the sack.
Yeah.
Just do it the right way. I mean, I don't know if them rumours are true, but it seems they're pretty strong rumours, isn't it?
Yeah.
That it was done sort of on social media. I can't work that out.
No, it's a strange way to go about business, Gary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we'll see how much of the squad's left. I mean, Jose Sardes rumbles about him, whether he'll be there, next season. But we've got a couple of nice youngsters. That Tom Adozie looked good. He's come on in 2 or 3, 4 games. Obviously, Raul's back. Mateus Mane's a really exciting forward for Wolves, so that'll be good. Adam Armstrong, so he's got championship experience. Andre, the midfielder, he signed a new contract. I think João Gomez will be there. He's got no release clause, I don't believe. Bellegarde's at the World Cup, isn't he? He'll play a part. Krejci, I think he'll do well in the championship. Again, whether he stops, but he's only just had his clause for his contract kicked in like this month or last month. He was there on a loan, and now he's there, for whatever it is, 3 years.
They've got every chance, haven't they, with what you've just named there. And I agree, I don't know much about the new manager, obviously. But on paper,
Yes.
they keep all them players as you're suggesting, and they keep fit. You're going to have a chance.
Got to have a chance. And the thing, and Gary, I mean, do you do that thing where a lot of fans do it? Where they go, oh, you know what? It's not such a bad thing to go down to the Championship and all that stuff. You're out of the madness of all the sort of time changes of the Premier League, and you got more games, 2 games a week, and lots of clubs can sort of take a breath and come and bounce back stronger. Is that what you're hoping happens with Wolves?
I get it. I get that way of thinking, but I want my team in the top flight. It's as simple as that. I mean, it's probably when you get handed, a poo sandwich, you're trying to, put some brown sauce on it, make yourself feel better. Maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, it'll be great. I mean, most of my time watching Wolves has been in the second division, the Championship. So it's something I'm used to. But I want to go up, and hopefully, I think he's got to bounce back first time, or else he's gone. So it's a strange one, trying to get my head around it, but we'll see.
I know. Just a quick word again about Rob Edwards. Again, that few times about really nice guy.
Yeah, good guy. Yep.
Knows the Championship. It's done well. It's a strange.
I mean, I wouldn't be disrespectful. Not disrespectful. I mean, I don't want to sound backhandedly disrespectful. I get his point. Was he brought in for the Championship? I don't want to say he was.
Yeah.
Because they still had a fighting chance of being in the Premier League, but it was going to be tough.
Yeah.
But he's certainly knowledgeable enough in the game.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe there's something in the camp. I don't know. That's the only thing I always say on these shows.
That's it, isn't it? You don't know, do you?
Yeah, maybe there's things, maybe there's something behind the scenes in the camp. He fell out with people. I don't know.
No.
That's the bit that you never know about these stories. But it does look odd from the outside looking in, and the whole thing does look odd.
And his name now, lads, has been chucked in because obviously there's the rumours have ramped up about Bellamy going to Sean's old club, Burnley. And sort of people are mentioning him around the Wales job because obviously he's played for Wales, Rob and all the rest of it. So the managerial merry-go-round, it never stops, Sean, does it?
Isn't it? It's mad.
It's like your name gets mentioned.
That's why everyone sort of buzzes off it now, don't they? It's a big talking point in football. The managerial merry-go-round. It's a big talking point now.
Yes,
constantly.
It's the reason why we're on air, really talking about all this. So Gary, tell us what you're up to then, mate. You've been away, been touring, haven't you? With is it the Britpop Orchestra? Is that what it's called?
Britpop Classical with Alex James. Yeah, we've done. We did a tour in the spring with them. We've done a few Reef shows. Got a few. Actually, we had an absolutely belting time down in Southampton. We just did Lincoln last weekend. Weekend before, we were in Southampton, and it was such good fun. We done the show. It's really impressive. It's a 30-piece orchestra. You've got a guy playing the triangle. The guy who plays the percussion is unbelievable. Timpani drums. You've got a harp, and it's 90s bangers all night. So it's a really good one. But Saturday down in Southampton, we went out for a few drinks after the game, watched Brazil-Morocco, and then we went off and done the Haiti-Scotland game. And we went in there at whatever it was, 2 a.m., this Irish pub. I kid you not, it was properly light when we left that pub.
Good lad.
I'd be for styling.
Good lad. And what about the weather, Gary? I mean, Gary's a massive surfer as well. I mean, is this prime surfing weather?
Yeah, it's too mellow for the surf. You had a bit of You want that low pressure. You want the moody weather really to be throwing those waves in. But it's nice for
that rug will keep you warm, kid. That rug will keep you warm anyway.
Yeah.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Top man.
Gary, listen, it's always great to see you, pal. I hope to see you again soon this season. Maybe we'll take a Wolves game together. And you take care of yourself, man, and enjoy the summer and enjoy the festival season.
Lots of love, guys. All the best, everybody.
Cheers, Gary. Ta-da. Cheers. What a top man. I mean, he is a rock and roll star, by the way. Oh, in the sense of the traditional, the rock and roll stars we grew up, listen to. Because when he first came on the show a few years back now, I was like, oh, you doing a quick pint after? Like you said, 12 hours later.
Yeah. When you go, what just happened to me?
Yeah.
I would say you go to bed and you're 27, you're awake when you're 32. You know them ones, them nights out when you're like, oh, great. Look like a Shar-Pei dog in the morning.
Great company. I mean, I went to see them playing a solo gig as well in the boat club in Nottingham, one of the famous boat clubs on the Trent there. Packed there for him, fantastic. But he, obviously his band play Rock City, a bit like you've seen Primal Scream, bands go and they play.
I haven't seen what they're doing with the orchestra behind them, but I've seen the DJs do it. It's brilliant.
It's fantastic.
Oh, superb. I did Creamfields on the Water. Me and Stoney went up a few years ago. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's a brilliant experience. And we were so lucky we got side stage because of Scott Barton who helped us out and sorted us out. They're great, another great fella. and very generous. And we went up there, had a brilliant time. Pete Tong does it as well. I've seen that. Absolutely fantastic. Woolerton are doing one Hacienda night as well.
I mean, I was just going to mention the Hacienda night because, like, the festival's becoming part of the great British tradition of the summer now, isn't it? It doesn't matter the weather. People love them,
doing it because no Glasgow.
No Glastonbury. Yeah.
So everyone's going mad for all the.
Apparently they can't do it.
For everyone else,
they can't do it every year. Apparently, it's a bit.
It's fallow year, isn't it?
Is it fallow year?
Right.
Yeah, it's because
protect the grounds,
protect the ground and stuff like that.
Awesome festival.
Yeah, I know. But there's. I mean, you love a festival, don't you? It's like Splendid.
Yeah,
I got
Nottingham. Only for the people though. I love it for the people and the atmosphere. Yeah. I actually prefer indoor gigs.
Yeah.
I love indoor gigs because the energy stays in. And at festivals, it sort of goes out the roof. But I mean, I've got so many great memories. Not from many festivals, but certainly at Glastonbury. The Hives were incredible at Glastonbury, boiling hot.
Have you heard about that?
First gig, 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something. First on, they were amazing. It was scorching hot, and they just ripped it. Honestly, so stuff like that, which just surprise you. Rick Astley, brilliant. Haircut 100 were brilliant. Last time I was at Glastonbury.
Good band,
brilliant.
Yes,
Kasabian, amazing. The best I've ever seen them. So, God, we could do a show on that.
You should let us know your festival memories. We'll all be also talking much more about the World Cup, and we've got Tony Woodcock coming in from the 1982 England squad and a member of one of the greatest World Cups ever.
Talking about Jude Bellingham, because of his talent, because of his ability, Kyle, he's often the focus of attention, isn't he? I mean, tell us, you've been in the same dressing room as him. What's he like as a person?
No, he's good, and I think he carries a lot of weight on his shoulders for such a young boy. I think people probably forget how young he is. Obviously, he's gone on from leaps and bounds from Birmingham City to Dortmund to now playing for, one of, if not the biggest clubs in the world. But I was saying it before, I think Morgan Rogers is a great player. I played with him at City. He's done unbelievable for Villa. But I just think in them moments, Jude Bellingham probably pips him just because of the big game moments, and last night proved that.
Yeah.
How good is he? Because you've been in training with him, you played with him. Because when we watch him, I just see someone who can score left foot, right foot. I see someone who can get box to box, good in the air. Looks like the complete player.
Yeah, I think, he's an all-rounder. He can tackle, he can defend, he can attack, he scores goals. As you just said, left, right foot, he's got an engine on him. Is he a silky number 10 that we're probably used to seeing in the Premier League? Probably not. He's more of a powerhouse. But, in these conditions that they're playing the World Cup in like this, it could work to our advantage with having him, Declan and, Anderson, that all have good engines on them and then can get up and down the pitch.
Mm. Does it ever get to him, the sort of criticism that he gets, the media attention that he gets?
I think probably it does. I think probably it does some way, but I don't think you can let it get to you. I think when you're a big football player like that with a name that you've got, obviously you're going to hear and you're going to see. People are going to tell you what people are saying, but you have to take that pressure. You're Jude Bellingham. And you've got that pressure on your shoulder. You're playing for Real Madrid and also representing England in a number 10 jersey, so you've got to deal with it.
We've seen a few months ago, there were journalists saying that he shouldn't be involved because there was reports that Jude Bellingham makes the older players, they're scared to play because he's so much of a character. And I was like, surely, Walks, you're a senior player. Jude Bellingham, if he's 18, 19, 20, he's not going to affect the senior pros, is he?
No, I don't think it affects you. You try and play to Jude's strengths, and you try and get him on the ball when he wants to get on the ball. Would anyone want to or don't want to play with...
Oh, Sean Dyche coming through with a classic there for England. England! I played some Scottish songs earlier on, but yeah, that's right up there, son.
Thanks, Dave.
Oh, the Jam, of course. Paul Weller. That's entertainment. And time now to catch up on the odds, thanks to Sky Bet.
Football form roundup on talkSPORT with Sky Bet. The world's gone football. Get in on it with Sky Bet. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Okay, we're now joined by Michael Shinners from Sky Bet to look at today's football and discuss the latest odds. How are you doing, Michael?
Yeah, very well, Johnny. How are you, sir?
Very good indeed, sir. Very good indeed. So let me. I've got some questions here to ask you, mate. What are the markets saying for all the favourites to win today?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some real short ones today. We've got Spain, Egypt, Belgium, and Uruguay. They're 9-4 for all four of them to win. But to put into context, obviously they all drew in their first game. So if that same thing were to happen again, and it's unlikely, it works out at 987-1 for the same thing to happen. And if you fancy the four underdogs, which is even more unlikely, it works out at over 6,000-1, the four teams: Saudi Arabia, New Zealand, Iran and Cape Verde. So we're expecting the four favs to win. But then again, who knows? We've had a few surprises so far in the tournament.
We have indeed. And what have you got for us for Belgium versus Iran?
Yeah, I mean, an interesting game. Belgium 4-11, Iran 13-2. No Doku for Belgium, which is obviously going to be a loss. But Romelu Lukaku came on, changed the game when he came on in the last match. He's 7-2 to score the first goal, and you would expect Belgium to win this. Obviously, they need to win it, but yeah, Lukaku, I think he's an interesting bet at 7-2 to score that first goal.
Okay, and Spain versus Saudi Arabia. Anything around Lamine Yamal?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Spain probably, would have hoped to have, got off to a much quicker start than what they did. But you would expect Yamal to play. He's even money. We price boosted him, even money to score a goal this evening against Saudi Arabia. If you fancy another 0-0 draw in that game, it's 25-1. Obviously, Spain drawing against Cape Verde. But yeah, Lamine Yamal, hopefully he'll light up the World Cup this evening, and he's even money to score this evening.
Brilliant. As they've said, and finally here, what have you got for us for New Zealand versus Egypt? But I'm going to ask you one more question after that as well. I want to know your prediction for the World Cup. Go on, mate.
So we've got the New Zealand-Egypt game. It's an interesting game in that Egypt 4-7. You've got New Zealand at 9-2. Mo Salah. You've got Marmoush playing. 6-5 for Salah to score. Marmoush 11-8. You've got Elijah Juiced, who scored a brace against Iran. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Can he score twice again? 50-1. Who's going to win the competition? I'm going to say that Spain are going to they're going to come into life this evening. I think they'll win and win comfortably. They could be the slow burner that Argentina were last year, and I still retain faith in them despite them drifting slightly in the betting.
Michael, pleasure as always. Top man.
Cheers.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you, mate. And if England wins the World Cup, qualifying customers will receive a payout. That was a look at the latest odds, thanks to Sky Bet, 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Football form roundup on talkSPORT with Sky Bet. Download the Sky Bet app and get in on it with Sky Bet. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Some shout-outs, Sean. We've had loads of messages. Let's look. Ashley White from Prague has messaged in. He says, I'm England's biggest ever fan. He said, I went to all 9 of the World Cups on a trot. Watching him.
That's incredible.
It's very impressive. And he's over he's in Czech Republic listening at a place just outside Brno. Hello, Ashley. Is a nice one here from Ian McKinnon in Scotland. He said, lads, that was a foul on McGinn. It was a stone warner. Second one on McTominay, I don't think was. But can we get Dyche in to manage this one last game?
I think he's implying that I'd go for a 0-0 there, get a point. Possibly, anyway.
Yes, exactly. Loads of people saying, a lot of people mentioned in the 98 World Cup, France, the Zidane World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair one, but we were the origins of the chat were about the first one we really remember.
When you were a kid.
So obviously, because of our age.
Yeah.
That was up
82.
Yeah, 82 was the one I had the most clarity for was 82. The first one, sorry.
What do you remember 86? And 86, I was.
90 was massive, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
as an Englishman, you know, Gaza, so close, so far, you know.
Yes.
Like that, so
86 was like Maradona, really. That was the World Cup with Maradona, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which I mean, unbelievable memories for a different reason.
Yeah.
We mentioned it earlier. We used to get Hodgie, to get his shirt out.
Yes.
Yeah, we used to go out and have a few.
That was a wise decision. And listen, at the time,
I know
he took a chance because all the players are going to. What have they got his shirt for? Because of obviously what had happened. But boy, did that turn out to be a wise decision.
Allegedly, he was meant to give it to Chris Waddle. That was the story.
Was it?
Yeah, apparently. So, anyway, he done all right out of it, didn't he?
Fighting over the shit, yeah.
7.8 million reasons to be happy.
Is
allegedly.
I was just thinking about talk about World Cup history. So Germany obviously scored a late goal to win, which is very Germany, isn't it?
Yeah.
You sort of had that thing.
Yeah.
And in 1954, they won the World Cup for the first time. They beat Hungary in a very famous game in Bern in Switzerland. And Hungary had beaten them in the qualifying games in that World Cup 8-2. So Hungary were hot. It was the team of Puskas and Iraguti, the great Hungarian team. It was the only game they'd lost in like 4 years. And it was a final to Germany, typical Germany, 2-0 down. Adi Dassler, Adidas. He makes special boots with his studs because it's a mucky day, and Germany come back and win 3-2. So it's very German in it to never to always come back at the end.
And his brother, of course, was Puma.
They
fell out, didn't they?
Yeah, Rudy. Rudy Dassler.
Unbelievable story.
And do you know why it's called Puma? Because the name Rudy sounds ruder. When they say it, sounds like Puma. Ruder.
Really?
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
I love that. I like the fact it's Adidas.
Yeah.
I think that's genius.
It's brilliant. And they lived.
All day I dream about soccer, you say when we.
That's it. Yeah. They were They were from the same town, right? And they had two massive factories.
Unbelievable.
And families wouldn't intermarry.
Yeah, and I think I'm sure they'd have fallen out, didn't they?
They did. They never spoke.
Yeah, and he made Puma.
Yeah.
They both did all right, didn't they?
They both did well, very well. Amazing. I've got quite a few as well, because you mentioned kits, didn't we? And the kit in 82.
Balls were good. Should do balls.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny Quango, the tango.
Yes.
What a ball that was.
Yeah.
Johnny Quango.
Yes.
I just love that.
Because do you know that the 66 ball, right? Do you know this? England won the World Cup in 1966. They never mention it, right? But apparently they won it in 66. But the ball there looks like an old-fashioned ball. It's like a big sort of. You wouldn't want to wear it if it was wet. They won a Jeff. But by the 70 World Cup, that Brazil ball, it's got the white and black paneling. It's an Adidas ball. Apparently, it looks fantastic.
That was my first ever Subutio ball. The white
and
panels.
Black. That's it. Yeah. So even the balls are stuff we remember from World Cup.
I know, definitely.
You know what I mean?
When the Johnny Quango, they brought it out with the Azteca signs.
That was it.
Yeah, brilliant.
They built that stadium for the World Cup in 1970.
Incredible, yeah.
Incredible, isn't it?
Amazing.
Just to build it, and that stadium has now been done up again. Mexico. What's your thoughts on Mexico, Sean?
Yeah, I'm not as clear on that one, but it was. I mean. No, I can't remember that one as much.
But they won their first game, but like for a country.
Oh no, sorry for this tournament. They're outsiders.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought they were going into welcome Mexico. No, I think they're outsiders. Yeah. But good outsiders, strong outsiders.
Because
Japan the same, I think.
Japan.
You never know. I mean, like long shots, but you never know.
Mexico's one of those countries as well. They're a bit like a South American country in the sense, like I know it's Middle America, Mesoamerica, but they're like obsessed by football there. Right?
Oh yeah.
El Tri is the name of their team, but they've never got past like the quarters, have they? You'd think for a country that size with that many teams and that many players that they would have got further on, and it could be this tournament, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could be, but they're definitely strong outsiders, I would say.
And home advantage as well.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was what you mentioned earlier on. It's interesting. It's the stadiums are all sort of air conditioning. In Mexico, that whole thing of altitude still comes into it there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got to, isn't it?
You know what I mean?
It's got to play its part. The temperatures we were about earlier and all that. That's the thing that I do find a bit weird about this World Cup is that temperature change. I'm sure I read something. I think it's 17 degrees or 18 degrees the lowest.
Yeah.
33, I think, is the highest. That's got to have an effect.
It has, yeah.
That's got to have an effect.
Well, it's over a whole continent, this one, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's not like it was where it used to be in just one country. They spread them around. My mother's listening. She just said to say hello to Sean.
Bless.
Carl Owen over in Wales there. We're going to be carrying on talking about this World Cup and World Cups of the past. This is the World Cup Weekender with Jonny Owen and Sean Dyche. Stay with us.
I've got to speak to you about England then. Obviously, of course, the result the other day. Really good second half performance. First and foremost, what did you make of the performance? And some people are saying it's the best half of football they've seen England play in years.
Well, what I was really impressed with, there's two things. The turnaround in the second half, and you saw Harry Kane, Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham all come out speaking glowingly about the manager's team talk at half-time. So that's an absolute massive, massive, massive plus. because a manager that's very aggressive, he's punchy, and he ain't going to go out trying to stay in a game. He's going to go out trying to win a game, and if it doesn't happen, he ain't going to be for the want of trying. And the second thing is aggressive substitutions and really decisive substitutions in the second half late on, where normally you see a lot of managers go, we're going to protect this lead. He's saying, no, I've got my foot on their throat and we're going to finish them off. And I love that. And if that's going to be the way we go about this tournament, we're going to have a good time.
I totally agree with you. I said that actually. Do you think that's the difference between what Southgate would have done and maybe bring on like a Calvin Phillips, a holder, to make sure we didn't lose the game?
Yeah, Southgate and a lot of other managers have done that. And I think that was probably when you're looking back now, it's a great thing having hindsight, but our Achilles heel probably, even though we've got further than any team since '66 in these last couple of tournaments, we still were playing at times, it felt, with the shackles on or the handbrake half up in the critical moments, in the biggest moments for England in these big games. And so with that comes kind of apprehension and a bit of anxiousness when you're watching those games, right? And Benty, you've been in them England squads, yeah? A lot of the guys in them teams and as a unit, as a team, as well as individuals, we were scared to lose games. And this team in that second half just looked like a team that were just freed up. And that bodes well for us.
Scotland don't go to World Cups very often. One of the times they did was in 1998. Tony Blair wasn't long into his tenure as Prime Minister, and Bewitched were at #1. Under Craig Brown, Scotland's route to France '98 was a relatively straightforward one, finishing second in their qualifying group behind Austria, but crucially ahead of Sweden. Their place was secured in October 1997. Fast forward to the following June, and there was a shock omission from Brown's World Cup squad, with talkSPORT's very own Ali McCoist left out entirely. 35 years old at the time, he'd scored 15 for Rangers that season. McCoist would describe being left out as the biggest disappointment of his career, and he's still not got over it.
Absolutely battered.
Craig Brown would later describe that decision as a huge regret and apologised. The tournament itself was a celebratory one off the pitch. No Scotland, no party after all. On the pitch, though, it was pretty uninspiring. Scotland opened the tournament against defending champions Brazil. John Collins scored an equaliser from the penalty spot before a Tommy Boyd own goal cruelly snatched what would have been a famous point. Scotland did draw their next game against Norway with an impressive effort from Craig Burley, meaning they then needed to beat Morocco to have any chance of reaching the knockout stages of a major competition for the first time ever. Expectation was high, but Scotland lost 3-0. Among the goals, Jim Leighton unfortunately lobbing himself after palming a point-blank shot into his own net. Scotland's World Cup song Don't Come Home Too Soon by Delamitri ringing in their ears, the Tartan Army made their way home not knowing they wouldn't be back at the World Cup for another 28 years. C'est la vie. And that's the best French 90s pop Scotland World Cup outro line you'll see or hear in any coverage ever.
colours anymore. I want them to turn black. I see the girls go by dressed in their summer clothes.
This is Jonny Owen. I'm with Sean Dyche. Weekend World Cup weekender. This is our show. We're talking about the World Cup. We've got loads coming up. We've got loads of people messaging about their favourite World Cup. I'm going to be asking Sean some questions about his favourite game, his favourite player in the World Cup. Let us know yours as well. And I've got to do a feature now, Sean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Time now for big match build-up with Village Hotels.
Cool.
talkSPORT Big Match Build-up with Village Hotels. Watch the big games live in the pub and grill at your local Village Hotel. Find your nearest at villagehotels.com.
Okay, here's some questions. This is all part of this package. You ready?
Oh, have I got to answer?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm under pressure. You know what I'm like.
Yes, okay. This is about it's about Iran. It's Belgium versus Iran, okay? What is the message to your players when you go into a game as the underdog?
It's a good shout. I think I would always go on the pressure's on them, the expectations on them. Therefore, we can play with freedom. They're going to find it tougher because of that weight of expectation. You know, this is what I tell my players. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. You know, kind of them messages, really. You know, just trying to unload the pressure. I always found that, not necessarily the dogs, but to give you a view, when you're playing the bigger teams or the harder teams, less is more for me. So whenever we used to play like, I don't know, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Trying to not cram loads of information into the players because they're already nervous and they know it's a big game. They know they're playing against top class players. Especially nowadays, most players should know they're playing against, really. You know, they do their own homework. So you prep them, but then towards the game, of course you do your set piece, you make it sure everything's organised, but then towards the game, you take the pressure off. You know, just try and make it a bit more light and because already overthinking it, you know what I mean, these big games. So I think just put the pressure on the opposition the best you can.
That's interesting. And then obviously, like saying when you were at Burnley and you had a cup game, FA Cup, and you had a team from down the lower divisions. What's it like then being favourites going into a game?
Yeah, no, you're right. Especially in the early days at Burnley, you're spot on because we were often underdogs virtually every game in the first couple of seasons in the Premier League. The first one went down, went back up. Second time, still sort of, underdogs in virtually every game. And then, of course, you're right, it turns around, and it does change the psyche. Players, you can almost sense like, are we meant to win this one? I know say the hardest fight that you're meant to win is often the hardest fight to win is often the one you're meant to win.
Yeah.
And, it was rare for us at that time. And over time, we got a bit better at it. But there was loads of games when we come out and you're scratching your head because you think, my goodness, the shoe's on the other foot. You're now the bigger team and the smaller team now are using it to their advantage. There is something about the underdog thing. And I think it's maybe not just an English thing, but I always think it is. It's sort of a bit of the British Bulldog. Do you remember the British Bulldog spirit?
Yeah.
So I think we almost like that in a way, the psyche of our country a little bit, like the underdogs. You know, I mean, maybe it's a worldwide thing culturally. I don't know, but it always seems our culture like go on the underdogs. You know what I mean? And I think that sort of can play into your favour, but not the other team. You know, it's hard. It's hard to.
Well, that's what the FA Cup is so famous for.
Yeah, of course.
And
you saw teams almost nervous. You could almost see it, couldn't you? In some games, you know, you see, when you're a kid and you look back. And you see was it Coventry got beat by Sutton or someone?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you got to sense it, couldn't you? The ugliness of the game and they're all fearing it. You know what I mean? So the underdog thing definitely has something in it.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, and it's interesting with that. I always remember that as well because that Sutton game, Coventry won the FA Cup themselves only 2 years ago by being the underdog against Spurs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Such a major thing when it went out.
It was
like,
huge, wasn't it?
What has gone on there?
I know, yeah.
But no, that's probably an extreme story, but yeah.
No,
but that is a lot of it's psychology. I mean, you got to remember there is a gap in quality, so you have to make up for it in some other way. Usually, if you're the underdogs, you're underdogs for a reason.
Yes,
it's usually a gap in quality.
Yeah,
if your players against theirs.
Yeah,
but then you can go for the old favourites, which I plan on anyway. Strong, fit, and organised.
Yeah,
if you get them three things right, it's not easy to break teams down, and you've always got a chance to go and nick one. You've always got a chance to score.
So talking about Belgium now, so do they need a convincing? Obviously, they drew the first game. Do they need a convincing win against Iran? I call them Iran because it's Iran in all the
I think. I think there'll be a little bit. The pressure does build a little bit for them to show their teeth, as it were. You're on about Lukaku. I think he's got some mad amount of goals, hasn't he, for Belgium? So I can see why the odds are so short on him to score. Look, they've still got some very, very good players without a shadow of doubt. But I know what you mean. That edge of playing with a bit of authority. I always say, and I thought England did that second half. I think that was a massive bonus to the result, not just the result. The way, there was an authoritative feel about the performance.
Yes.
And I think that's what Belgian fans will be looking for.
Yeah,
as a manager, I'm sure.
Well, because when the second goal went in for Croatia against England, you thought the pressure was on them, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only bugbear for me tactically would be the 2 goals. I mean, the back four don't close up quick enough. When I think Bellingham gives it away, they drive down the middle. They're out of position, don't sort of smell danger, as I call it. If you see him under pressure, that's when you start closing up. You read the game defensively, I mean. And the second one just got got done a little bit ball watching, shoulders not turned, clips it over his head, and they get him behind. That would be my only thing if I'm Tuchel going, well, we've got to do better than that.
Yes.
That aside, the rest of it, I think there was a really strong performance. But like I say, not just winning. The body language, the intent, the desire of the players to go and see it through properly, you know what I mean? And Kane was a brilliant example of it, although I'm a massive fan of his, but his block, they slow-moed it, he dives in front of it, no turning his back. No, I hate that, by the way, it's my pet hate. Honestly, so many goals can be stopped if players just, take it.
Yeah.
And he just stands strong, hits him, and I thought, that's when you got that edge to the side, so...
Fascinating.
There's a lot going on.
I love stuff like this, and I'm sure people listening to us are, because exactly what you were just saying there. When I went to the Thursday Club and I met up with Colin Barrett and Frank Clark, all top class defenders, they all talked about their second goal, your shape, body shape.
Hit with the ball. Honestly, you see it every week in the Premier League. Well, all football. People turn their back and it goes exactly where they've just turned their back.
Yeah.
Fullbacks like doing it, and crosses going in.
Yeah.
You could stop. So Ben Mee was terrific at it. Tarky, brilliant. Michael Keane.
Yeah.
I used to be obsessed about it. I used to scream at him in training, don't turn your back. I'd say it to my son now.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a massive part of defending. It's just not turning your back. Never more so than now. Players they're more bright now. They're more clever. You can't go and, the old days of giving, smacking into a player. They're gone.
Yeah.
So you've got to make sure you're defending right, without making contact. Therefore, get in the line of the ball and just stand there and let it hit you. It's only a football.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna hurt you that much, trust me.
And don't forget, Belgium versus Iran in Group G kicks off at 8 p.m. and we'll bring you full commentary here on talkSPORT. You can watch the games live in the pub and grill at your local Village Hotel. Find your nearest at villagehotels.com. Plus, for a chance to win a Village Hotel VIP experience for the World Cup final at a Village Hotel near you, you head to talksport.com/competitions.
talkSPORT Big Match Build-Up with Village Hotels. Watch the big games live in the pub and grill at your local Village Hotel. Find your nearest at villagehotels.com.
So one of the big things I keep getting asked as well, Sean, by the time somebody said, ask Sean, 6 weeks is a long time for a tournament. They're usually a month, aren't they?
Absolutely.
It's a long old time, isn't it?
You come off the back of a season of work.
Yeah.
Football's great, but it's still work.
Yeah.
And they do get a little break, send them away for a bit, and then you go in there in 6 weeks and lots made about the camps, and it's not easy to keep a load of people occupied for 6 weeks. You know what I mean, and give them something different. I've noticed they take them out and stuff, but even that, imagine the organisation of trying the logistics of getting all them guys and your staff. They need energising as well, by the way, because these tournaments are huge now.
Yeah,
I'd love to know this. I love all stuff like this. So imagine we were talking about the '82 World Cup.
Yeah.
So imagine then the travelling party with the England side.
Yeah.
As in coaches, players, staff, imagine now. I bet you that's swelled enormously.
Yeah.
Goodness knows how many people the England team will have with them, but I reckon it'd be 100.
Yeah.
You think how few players, 26 players.
Yeah.
I reckon there'd be 100 people involved.
Yeah.
So therefore, you've got to keep all the team behind the team needs to be energised. They're all away for 6 weeks as well.
Yeah.
So how are you managing your staff? Do you let them have a beer? Do you let them have a night out? Do you let them take them for a night out? Do you organise that? Do you get, you can't just keep them in a hotel every day.
No.
And I remember there was a big noise from in football, about Capello. Do you remember when he took
Yeah, South Africa was the one, wasn't it, where they
had
didn't...
no sauce on their
That's
food.
right, yeah.
And allegedly they're getting, like Deliveroos and all. Well, there weren't Deliveroos then, but you get my point.
Takeaways, yeah.
Yeah, takeaways, yeah. Thrown through windows.
Yeah.
Like the old McDonald's through, Burger King through the back door.
White bag.
Yeah. No, but it keeps you sane.
Yeah.
People forget that food's another massive thing, Food is a massive thing.
Yeah.
Even for us with teams for a couple of days, and even in pre-season, you take your team away maybe 10 days. Food is a huge thing when you're working and you're playing and massive things. It's got to be tasty. It's got to be. I couldn't believe that. Honestly, it drives me mad. I swear, Johnny. Right? I played as well, not very well, but I did play for 20 years. Chicken and pasta and vegetables. You do that every day, you drive yourself mad.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
So you need a bit of 90-10 rule. They always say 90% good stuff and then 10% just give them a plate of rubbish, you know what I mean? Give them a cooked breakfast now and again, you know what I mean? Just think, honestly, I swear that becomes really important. A little night out now and again, it's not going to hurt these lads. They're like Rolls Royces.
So glad you said about that.
It's not going to hurt.
On the news today was Dan Byrne went to watch some country and western.
Yeah,
last
that's
night.
right.
I thought, great.
Absolutely.
And he got fitted out for Cobra Boots, didn't he? And all the rest
gig
of it.
would be a great one, wouldn't it? Because it's gigs nowadays, particularly in these stadiums, it'd be amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, there must be a gig around near where they are, and I don't know anything to change the psychology, because what they're doing, even more so now, and I know they're top professionals, but trust me, the media heavy input, they're on their phones, everything arrives on their phone every day.
Yeah.
So it can get really heavy. Now, it's good when it's good, hot when you're hot, not when you're not.
And that's the problem. You see, what you get in football is, so let's say 96, right, the great Euros where England sort of, got the semi-finals, where Stuart Pearce is introducing the Sex Pistols in Finsbury Park, right? Great.
Yeah.
But the problem you've got is, if you have a bad World Cup and they were going out, you get hammered then, didn't you? That's the problem.
Well, you wait, and hopefully this won't happen. We play the next game against Ghana, right?
Yeah.
Imagine now, if we lose. I don't think we will, but if we do.
Yeah.
It'll all go and it'll turn the other way around. You know what I mean? And then it becomes a whole different ball game.
Yes.
And trying to find that balance during these long periods.
So difficult.
Yeah, not letting the players get too high with it all, not getting them too low with it all.
Yeah.
Not getting carried away, but keeping them occupied. Maybe see their families and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because you remember the circus in 2006 in Baden with all the what is it called?
I got to be honest, I've got to join in with this. Do you know what? It's like, I'm going to get hammered here for dinosaur Dyche and all that. But all their partners wearing their shirts and that with their names on. Come on, just turn and watch the game. It's not about you, it's about them. It's about them out there running around, kicking a football around. That's what it's about. And I'm not being disrespectful. Come on. Just go and watch your game. Just look lovely and go and watch your game. Wearing their shirts and all that. I get the little ones with dad and that, really.
Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, it's cute. But come on, for the partners, I go, come on.
I can almost imagine the social media people on Talks would get. Oh, there's the.
There he is, 442.
I'm just going to go to the break. I've just got one thing to say to you. This is from Stephen and Berwick. Adi and Rudy Dazzler had another brother called Bobby. You're welcome.
Oh, what a no! Honestly, classic that one, isn't it? Goodness me!
Well done, Stephen. Well done. Stay with us.
Well done. Well done.
Now, earlier in the show, we asked the all-important question. Who was faster in their pomp? Kyle Walker or Gabby Agbonlahor? Well, talkSPORT's Anil Kandala was at the talkSPORT fan zone at Villa Park last night for England against Croatia, and he put that question to some of the fans in attendance.
It's a tough call, but I'd go for Gabby. He was awesome, and no defender wants anybody with that pace running at them. So I'd go for Gabby either.
Quicker than Kyle Walker?
I think so. Yeah, I do. And I'm sure Gabby would agree with me.
Gabby. Well, he used to dart across the field, didn't he? I think he's better than Kyle, to be honest.
Well, we had Kyle on loan for us for many years ago, and he was quick, but Gabby was quicker.
And there you go. It might be a little bit unfair because Gabby Agbonlahor is in that building behind me, but it seems that Gabby's got the vote.
Right, the rest of the world.
He actually spoke to about 100 people who were there, but we only decided to show 3, okay?
I clipped that up for them.
Yeah.
Do you know what, though? When I think about Kyle, when I go back to that game, Kyle, of like, I think it might be Germany at Wembley, and you was right side of the free, but like you was all the way in the right back position, and I was at the game, mate, and you come sprinting across, mate. Someone was through on goal. I can't remember who it was.
Muller.
It was Muller, yeah. I'm like, where has this guy come from? And you've done that for the last 15, 16 years, mate. Your centre-half pairings with England and Manchester City must have been looking at you thinking like, okay, maybe I can leave a bit of space in behind, because you would always just come out of nowhere and cover.
Yeah, I think that was what my game was based on. I probably didn't create that much going forward with assists and stuff for I chipped in with a few, but not as much as probably what I should have done. So my main game when I got a little bit older was to make sure I can cover the back.
Incredible. Here's a great suggestion. Jill's a regular contributor. She says, "Why not get both of them in the car park?" Said, "My money's on Kyle."
Just about, yeah.
You know football.
I'll have to kick him first.
Geordies, weren't they? They were Geordies, indeed. World Cup weekend here with Jonny Owen and Sean Dyche. That's a Sean pick, another fantastic pick by Sean there. That is, of course, The Animals. We got to get out of this place. He's playing some English classic pop records. We got to get out of this place to the World Cup. That's what I'll be hoping. With the World Cup in their hands.
Holding that, eh?
Magical,
eh?
Sorted for life, innit?
I know, I weren't born in 66.
Yeah.
I weren't born in 66.
No, I wasn't either.
No, so...
No.
You know, I
wasn't born for 70 World Cup. I got a snippet of 74, but I'm not sure if I would have been. I just remember orange and white shirts, but not really.
Yeah, no, I just remember 78.
78,
yeah.
ticker tape. Yeah. And then 82, you've arrived and fully formed. Sean, they've got the producers brought in some questions from Dyche, so we're going to do a quick fire round, and then we're going to go on to some World Cup memory lane questions as well from other people, because we've been inundated. Thank you very much for all your questions and all your kind messages. If you could manage one team before you retire, who would you pick and why?
I think there's so many you can throw in there, but I think Man U, just because I remember the glory days of Sir Alex and the Theatre of Dreams and all them things. Played there in the semi-final with Chesterfield, and it's still. I always enjoy going there as well as a manager as well, and I always seem to do all right there. I mean, didn't always win, but we played pretty well, had some good results there. So I think Man U is still an enormous concern.
It's a special football club.
Yeah, it's still a massive concern. Yeah,
Babes and Best.
Yeah, and try and have your chance to try and bring it back to where it once was under Sir Alex.
Yeah, great. I mean, there's a reason why Manchester United and Liverpool are the two best about the teams.
Yeah, and Liverpool amazing. I'm not going to mention or not mention Everton. I was really proud,
fantastic football.
Really
club.
proud to be managing them, because it was an awful time for a big club.
Well, somebody messaged in going, "Hey Sean, I'm a big fan of somebody in Nottingham, somebody called Groundhopper, going, why do you always wear Everton gear when you're training?" But it's always very smart.
Because I nicked it. What do you think? I only say out for now. I nicked it. I nicked it. I only kept one pair of shorts. I got one pair of Everton shorts. I wear them to the Virgin Gym.
You do?
Yeah, so I wear them to the Virgin Gym. So that's very shame me. Yeah, and I nicked them. Yeah, I don't think they're going to ring me and say, "Can you send them shorts back, Sean?" Yeah,
hey, lads, get them shorts back.
Last time I did a Scouse accent, I know, someone actually rang someone to one of my mates, went, "He's rubbish at Scouse accent." All right,
Scouse accent's very good.
I'm not bothered. I'm not going to do it for a living. I do wear my Everton shorts, so I nick one pair, that's it.
Yes, we'll have to meet the Scouser later. Phil Jones.
We are.
The biggest Everton fan I've ever met. He's a great lad, yeah. Okay.
He'll have that same Stony Island jacket on.
Yeah, he loves a Stony, doesn't he? Yeah.
No, it's 900 degrees. He'll still have it on.
He will, when he...
Sweatathon.
All right, sir, lads. Who's the best player you've ever worked with and why?
Kieran Trippier. Yeah. When I had him as a youngster, he's like a bit of a butterball, but you could tell his talent. Incredibly talented, way better. I mean, don't get me wrong, people know he's talented, but he's a very, very good player. I always said he's got a right foot like lefties. Lefties always seem to have that wonderful left foot play about him.
Yeah.
He's got honestly, he's got every club in the bag in his right foot. He can do anything, yeah. And a great lad. Yeah. And a great. I still see him now, still speak to him now. Yeah. Fantastic. And my fondest memory, he FaceTimed me when they won La Liga on the pitch.
Did he?
That's my fondest memory in football. Apart from, I don't mean winning things, but
tell you what,
ex-player to do that was...
That's the last thing he did as well.
Nearly had a tear, Johnny. You know me, I'm not the tear guy. Nearly had a tear. One just nearly popped over. You're doing the old wide eyes just in case one pops over the rim.
Yeah, I was going to say that this is an interesting one because it's hard to say who's the hardest individual you ever have to deal with as a manager. You can't.
Yeah, I know. I presume they mean like a handful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No, not. I mean, I've been very fortunate, maybe, or maybe the environment we created.
Yeah.
I can't remember anyone really. Yeah. Being out of order. You have a few rumbles with players. You have a few crossed wires and stuff.
Yeah.
But no one's outstanding to me where I go, oh, that was a nightmare sort of situation.
Yeah.
No, never had that.
Keep that one for the book, Sean.
Yeah, well, that's a fair shout. Yeah. Not going to name them live on radio, am I, anyway? But...
Who's the most surprising player you've worked with?
Do you know what? There's so many, and you just asked, and the ones that it's more of a team thing, but there are individuals in it. To the first promotion at Burnley, to lose Charlie Austin, what a fine centre forward he was, and great lad as well. To lose him and then sign Scott Arfield on a free transfer, who was probably going to go to MK Dons.
Yeah.
Dave Jones, who's had a sort of knee problem, took a chance. Lee Hoos, the chief exec, took a chance, said no, we'll sign him. And Tom Heaton, of course. To sign them 3 players and then get promoted when that's all you've signed and you got like 17 players was a surprise to me. And not that brilliant pros. I mean, they proved their worth in the careers they've had ever since. And before that, by the way.
Yeah.
Dave Jones was a good player anyway.
Yeah.
And Tom had been relegated from Bristol City. Scotty Arfield was like wandering a little bit, you know what I mean, in the lower leagues. And them 3, unbelievable. It's a positive surprise. But not that I didn't rate them, but to do what they'd done in the game as individuals and for us at Burnley at that time was incredible.
Great. Well, listen, thanks everybody for those questions. You've been brilliant this afternoon sending your stuff in. We're going to go on to World Cup now because so many have been messaging about your World Cup and what your favourite one was and how you look back nostalgic on goals, matches, players. So I'm going to ask Sean some of these questions and I'm going to tell him mine as well. So your favourite World Cup other than 1982 now?
Yeah.
Have you got another World Cup other than
90 because of the obvious thing, so near yet so far, sort of heartbreak, Gaza, the whole thing, the whole feel of it. Just, you mentioned earlier, it feels, I know I don't want to pile pressure on us this time round, but it feels that the country feels a bit like that at the moment.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That feel-good factor of a nation sort of all willing it to go well.
Yeah.
And so close. And then
it is something in the air, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it feels right. I mean, look, it doesn't win you a game, but it just adds that little bit, bit of spice to it.
I'm going to go for France 98. I enjoyed that World Cup. It was a bit like for France, it was like a making of a nation and all the rest of it. And I enjoyed the World Cup.
The other thing to point out, because I'm sure the listeners will be the same, some figureheads in all these World Cups.
Yes.
When you think back Platini and Zico and Adair and, all these people. Yeah, I know. And it just seems, I don't know why, maybe because I'm in the business and I've been too long now, but they just seem like players to me now.
Yeah.
When you were a kid and you'd see them and Tardelli, of course, running off, scoring the goal. I mean, they're magic moments.
They were just brilliant.
And the Gaza thing, thing and all that. Gary Lineker looking over, well,
I mean, loads of people talk about like the sea change. Certainly in football in Britain was Italia 90, and like 2 years later, Sky took a chance and bought football for a lot of money, and then ever since it's going to become what it's become. So there was a big sea change. Your favourite ever player in a World Cup, Sean?
Unfortunately, as much as it's a very contentious one, but seeing Maradona in the unfortunate hand of God goal, that tournament was unbelievable. I think it was like some of the stuff he was producing.
Yes. We're too young for Pele. My father talked about Pele.
Yeah. Genius,
but for me, Maradona as well. I'm the same as you. Maradona.
Yeah, because you just couldn't believe what this little guy is doing, just carrying the ball.
Sensational, that World Cup
and everything. Do you remember his goal against Belgium when he's off balance? And he somehow whips it. And you just go like, what is that all about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that great photograph of him with the ball against Belgium. There's like 6 players in front of him, isn't it?
Yeah, and the famous warm-up.
Yeah, that's right.
Paul Hart and Bryn played, and they played against him, didn't they? And they were telling us, and the pitch was that bad. It had, you remember the old Barcelona pitch?
Yeah.
How awful it was.
Yeah.
They played against him, didn't they? And he kept the ball up across the pitch, didn't he? And then just pinged it wide, and Hart just went, we're in trouble.
Final quick one then, Sean, before we go to break. Your favourite ever game, quickly?
I think still that we didn't win it, but the Italia 90, I think, because the emotion of it, we're all involved in it.
Semi-final.
All my mates are there. We're all screaming at the TV and just, you know what I mean, outpouring of just pure football madness, pure fan madness. Like, I felt like a fan.
Yeah.
And I was just in the business, don't forget. I just made my debut for Chesterfield, my debut season. I've been at Forest. But I just felt like a fan. I was so absorbed by it.
I'm pretty sure the vast majority of the listenership will be between. And I'm just going to say quickly, Brazil 2, Italy 3, the Rossi hat-trick. Remember that very well as a kid. Just before we go to the break, a big shout out to Gary in Newcastle. Thanks for your kind words, Gary. He says it's good to have you back on the radio, Johnny, you and Sean. We're very good, apparently. This is Gary in Newcastle. Yeah, we do. Yeah. Up next is Tony Woodcock, a member of the 1982 England World Cup squad.
mentioned Perisic. They've got players in their side, Modric. You know, they're the wrong side of 35, right? These players have been in their team for a long, long time. And I'm not struggling, but the first 45, I'm watching it thinking, how is this happening again?
But also, you've got to think, right? I get what you're saying, but also, there's going to be a few nerves kicking about.
Yeah.
Right? These guys, as you said there, have been around for such a long time, so they just understand, they're comfortable where they are. Modric, Perisic, these guys, they just know what it takes to get to that to get to that level. But it's I think there's a lot of boxes that Thomas Tuchel would have ticked. I thought the team selection he got wrong. But in my personal,
who do you get wrong?
I would have started Rashford.
Yeah, me too.
And Mark Gahey has to play. He has to play.
Talk about what you're saying outside about the balance of the centre halves.
Because John Stones, he naturally plays on the right hand side, right? And it's Maguire that usually plays on the left when it was those two. When you move John Stones out to the left, naturally he doesn't go that way to Nico O'Reilly, which is why he barely touched the ball. He couldn't go that way.
And Anthony Gordon hardly received the ball in the first half.
Exactly. Mark Gahey naturally plays on the left side, so he's used to receiving the ball from the right hand side and going out to the left. But that just wasn't there, which is why we hardly saw anything down that left hand side. But yeah, I would have started Mark Gahey and I would have started Rashford for sure. They would have been my first two not on the team sheet, but they're the two that I would have started.
So you would have started with Rashford on the left. What about the other side? Would you have started with Noni?
Yeah, probably, because Saka, I'm not sure. I don't know how fit Saka is.
Okay, looked good when he come on though.
Looked really good. Looked like hungry.
Yeah,
but that's a good problem you've got. But at the end of the day, the quality shone through second half. Even though there were moments towards the end of the second half before Rashford scored, I was thinking, oh my goodness, they're on top again. They're starting to move the ball. They're getting into their rhythm. Their substitutions made a big difference. But then Rashford comes on and just does what he does.
Yeah,
the sharp turn, the finish.
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a problem that first 45 were a bit whiffy because
look at France.
I was just about to say, look at France. I mean, they had a rocket up their backside. They're a completely different side in the second half.
Told you about him, didn't I? I said, how often do I sit you?
Write his name down.
Jonny Owen here with World Cup Weekender with Sean Dyche. That is, of course, the Proclaimers letter from America. Let's hope the Scottish fans are sending letters next week and the week after. but they're still there in America. Well, I got to say, I'm absolutely delighted, as we say in Wales, delighted to welcome into the studio with me and Sean, a very dear friend and a member of the great Nottingham Forest team of the late 70s, double European Cup winners, title winners, 2 League Cups, so many trophies. And then he went to Germany where he had a spectacular career with FC Cologne and played for England many, many times and was a member of the 1982 World Cup in Spain, our favourite World Cup, mine and Sean's, and he's here to tell us all about it. It's Tony Woodcock.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, Johnny, yeah. Sean, yourself, yeah?
Yeah, good,
so
good.
Looking forward to seeing you today, yeah?
Yeah, it's superb.
I was just going to say to you, so we were talking about it, there was 24 teams in 1982, is that right?
Yeah, we were saying earlier, mad stuff.
24 teams, and you were there for 3 weeks, I would imagine, because you got through to the second round, England did. What was it like in them days, Tony? How many people went with the England team in the management?
Not as many as today, that's for sure, right? But what I can think, it's a long, long time ago, but thinking about it, the biggest first problem for me, I was playing in the Bundesliga at the time, and typical Germans, they closed the Bundesliga down early so the German national team could have a number of weeks to get prepared for the World Cup. So I was left stranded, sort of fit, but not having any match practice for 6 weeks, which would never happen today. I would have been taken. I would have rang Arsenal up or someone who I was joining later that month or whatever it was and said, listen, can I come and train with the lads or something like that? It didn't happen in those days. So with the England team, training well, everything going well, I'm feeling fit, I'm feeling good. They were given the nickname Lash because we learned in Germany in those early days, we were doing a lot of shooting with the outside of the foot or curling it. We see today's modern players curling it into the top corner. So all the lads nicknamed me Lash. So, not what you lads are thinking now, right? Don't think of the other Lash. We're not going there, right?
I think you're going out on
this. This was a left-footed Lash shot, what I'm talking about, yeah. So, when I got the chance to actually play, I think it was in the quarter-final, although you're feeling fit, match practice is everything, Sean, as you know about it.
Yeah, of course.
We got there, and it was that system in those days where it was that table system.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
We got knocked out of the World Cup without losing a game.
That's right, yeah.
And everyone was sort of playing chess, who's going to go through, and we needed to beat the Germans in the final game, and it was all very close and things like that. So we went out without losing the game, so it was very disappointing.
Because and that was one of the favourites to win it, really, were England, because it started so well, beat a very good French team in Bilbao, didn't they, in the first game?
Yeah, Brian Robson, was it in the first couple of minutes or something like that? Comes through the game.
Volley when he sort of hooks
it. Really good performance.
Long throw, was it a long throw or something?
Long throw, came in, early doors. But the whole thing about it as well, it was just after the Falklands.
Oh, cool.
So we were in Bilbao, yeah, and we used to go to the training ground. As we go into the training ground, there were a number of armoured cars laid out amongst the street to get there. So the security was massive.
Right.
So you couldn't really go out. So we're in the hotel, and they used to lay things on in the hotel, to keep us interested throughout between training sessions and things. We got one day through the security saying there's a ballet company here in Bilbao. They'd like to come and say hello to the boys. Someone passed that to said, yeah, that's great. Let them come over. So the rumour was there's this ballet troupe coming over to see the lads. So all these ladies came over.
You're gutted with that.
Our first reaction was, these don't look like, slim, sleek ballet dancers. Nothing like them. They were a little bit larger. They were, pretty well developed. And we find out in the end of it, having photographs with them and some of the lads making poses with the ballet poses and things like that it wasn't a ballet company. It was the local strip company. How they broke through this massive...
the story behind the story.
How this...
No wonder you didn't win a game.
How this company broke through the security after all the Falklands, the tanks and the guards and everything that we never knew, right? So, yeah. So that started, and then we were just training and getting ready for it. But my own personal thing is that, I wasn't match fit. I got a game or got 60 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And we couldn't put the ball in the net. And they were very defensive. I think it was the Germans who were...
Funny enough, we were talking about Ronaldo earlier and Cristiano, obviously. And we were saying that, I was saying that where he's been playing is not the level of this. Do you know what I mean? So it's similar but different. You're saying you didn't play enough football and you get there and you're not quite... It's a different thing. It's like 6 weeks, like having a close season.
Long time, yeah.
It's like having a close season, isn't it? And then you just got to go and turn it on in a World Cup. It's not easy.
That is too long, but I think the lads who are playing in Saudi or somewhere like that, I'm sure that they're at a good fitness level.
But yeah, I don't mean the fitness, sorry, the level of competition, the sharpness and the level of players you're playing against week in, week out.
I would imagine, I don't know, I'd imagine they should be all right, really, but let's be honest, Ronaldo's getting to a great problem, it shouldn't be. Yeah. So, no, times were different all those years ago.
I mean, just about the German thing, though, where you were saying West Germany as it was then, Tony, how they different preparation, because they got through to the final, that World Cup, didn't they? But they took the time off. They finished their league early so the team could prepare. Yeah. Very clever. But they would have trained as a team or in camp intensively before the World Cup then.
Yes, they would have got together early. And they would have had training programs, they would have had friendly games, and they would have prepared exactly for the World Cup. Whereas the English lads who were still playing, I think it was a month or something after the German Bundesliga closed. Myself, I'm just looking after myself basically, doing some runs and things like that. But today's day and age, you would think completely stupid. That is right. I mean, how can you get ready for a World Cup when you've got 6 weeks from your last game until you're playing the next game? Yeah.
And we were just talking on about this World Cup feels a little bit different. There's a little bit, I feel, there's a little bit less pressure, less hysteria around the team, the coming home thing and all the rest of it that usually happens. What was it like in '82 when you went there? Did you go there with a lot of pressure and expectations, or were you coming from Germany and didn't really see or feel that?
There's always a bit of, what is called pressure. It's a bit of excitement, I would call it. You're playing professional football. It's something you want to been doing since you were a child.
Yeah.
And then you're playing for England. I mean, you go in there with this pressure, but it's an excitement, I would call it, not a pressure, because that's where you want to be. You want to be in a World Cup final. You want to be playing against the best.
Yeah.
You want to be trying to prove yourself. I'm in the transitional period where I'm leaving Cologne and going to Arsenal, and then having to play in the World Cup finals there. Yeah. So. No, I push that aside and thinking it's a game of football. It's something you've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
You're excited about it, right? Make sure you're fit. That's the whole thing. Just tell you like the late, great Rinus Michels, the general of the Dutch football. Right?
Yeah.
Rinus used to say one thing to us all. He'd look at us all at Cologne and go, you all can play football. We had 16 international players in the squad. He said, you can play the game, but one, you need to be fit. And he used to run us into the ground. I'm telling you, there used to be around Cologne training ground. It's like a forest. I know virtually every tree in this forest because we ran to it and jumped on the floor and run back. He said, you have to be fit. Secondly, we have to understand how we want to play the game. What have we got for our strengths? What have we got for our weaknesses? How do we bring that into the game? We all have to understand that, how we're going to play the game. 3, get to grips with your own game. Got to put the ball in the net, put it in the net. If you've got to make a tackle, do it. If you've got to head it, do that. And 4th, then you can start helping your teammates. Now, we can all do that. So he was asking something that everyone on the whole planet, if they get together to play football, can do. So those 4 things, I think they're still relevant today.
Sean said them earlier on. You literally said the same things.
Yeah, strong, fit and organised.
Strong, fit and organised.
It drives me mad. It drives me mad how people, these geniuses of football now and all these, the language they talk about football. And yet we're sitting talking, you're talking about legendary figures.
Yeah.
And they often the best to keep it simple. But it doesn't mean they haven't thought about it. Doesn't mean there's not detail.
No.
The modern player now, you said they want analysis. So you didn't show me this, you didn't show me that. I was making the joke, you didn't know Lionel Messi was left-footed. You're telling me that I have to tell you that Lionel Messi is left-footed. You know what I mean? Some players, it gets to the point when it's like madness,
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting,
Well, all of them, right? Brian Clough. I was with a guy called Hennes Weisweiler, great German coach. Rinus, Udo Lattek, Christoph Daum for a short period. And they all said, but major, Michels, Clough and Weisweiler, the hardest thing to do in football is keep it simple. You only use your skills when that moment comes when you've got to get it. Put the ball in the net or do something. Otherwise, you just play. Another thing, we played in the League Cup final against Southampton, whatever year it was, all those years ago. And we're expected to win. And suddenly we're 1-0 down. We go in at half-time. 1-0 down at half-time. And we're expecting he might get a bit loud or something like that. He didn't. He said, sit down. Right? No problem, boys. All you have to do when you get the ball, just give it to a red shirt.
Yeah.
In your peripheral vision, do not start looking for something that's, even better. Do the simple thing.
Yeah.
But then you've got to have players who understand that and think, right, we're going to do this. So we go out and we start knocking the ball about. Just simple. Red shirt, red shirt, red shirt. And suddenly we're starting to get into the flow. And then within 20 minutes, we're 3-1 up. We lose that. We win the game 3-2, but just things like that at half time when you're coming in.
Even I now the short time, 3 years there, but it rubs off with everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But nowadays it's changed. Managing players is a changed job. There's no two ways about it. But they want constant information. If you don't tell them, it's almost like, well, you didn't tell me. Like, come on. The trust has to be a dual thing.
What I can't understand, which if I'm watching,
not all players,
I could be watching Arsenal, say, or one of the other ones. and you're 1-0 down and it's 10 minutes to go and you need a goal. So you've got to bring some guy on who's going to score a goal or create a chance or be an attacking flair that you're going to get you back in the game. And what I can't understand that there's coaches who are standing on the sideline with an iPad, tapping the iPad and showing them what to do. All you need to do, we need to get out there and get a goal. That's why you're going on.
No dinosaur. I got my iPad every week. I was there on my iPad showing them everything. I know, yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
I do. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do say about that. The instructions they give. What are they saying then when they do? It's just go.
Sometimes it drives you mad, honestly. And then we were chatting the other day about it. The old debate on set pieces.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a set piece is like a revolution.
Yes.
They were doing that. Tony Muse was doing that 20 years ago.
He was.
Get battered for it, and now it's like a revolution. The set pieces have always been there, but it still boils down to the ball and someone heading it.
We just got to throw to excuse me, John. We just got to throw to Ian Danta, who's going to be covering Spain versus Saudi Arabia for us.
Yeah, team news is in. Johnny, afternoon to you. And the big news for Spain is that Lamine Yamal is fit to start the game for the Spanish. They make 4 changes to the Spaniards from that very disappointing 0-0 draw with Cape Verde at the start of the tournament. Pedro Porro of Spurs comes in for Llorente at right back. Alex Baena playing in a further forward role. Fabian Ruiz is surprisingly dropped. So too is Gavi to make way for Olmo, and Torres makes way for Yamal. So Simon in goal for Spain. Porro, Kubasi, Laporte and Cucurella in a back 4. Pedri, Olmo and Rodri as a midfield 3. Yamal and Baena either side of Oyarzabal up front for them. As for the Saudis, who very nearly beat Uruguay, were 10 minutes away from getting a 1-0 win over them before an equaliser. They make a couple of changes. Looks like they're shifting to a back 5 as well, Johnny. They are bringing in Al-Dawsari, Nasser Al-Dawsari, that is, and Ali Lajami. So Al-Awais is the goalkeeper. Excuse me. Abdelhamid Al-Amri, who scored the goal against Uruguay. Altan Bakhti, Lajami and Al-Harbi in a back 5. Nasser Al-Dawsari, Abdullah Al-Khairabi and Al-Juwair in behind Albrikan, and the other Al-Dawsari, who's the one who scored the wonderful goal against Argentina, Salem Al-Dawsari, 4 years ago. Kick-off at 5, live on talkSPORT, Spain against Saudi Arabia.
Thanks, Ian. A bit of breaking news here, lads. We can confirm that Ben Stokes and Gus Atkinson have been included in the England's men's squad for the 3rd Rothesay test against New Zealand following the conclusion of an ECB disciplinary hearing in relation to their conduct in the early hours of Monday, the 8th of June. For more reaction to this story, you can listen to the following on podcast on talkSPORT YouTube, on your talkSPORT YouTube channel with Ashes winner Steve Harminson. More coming up with Tony and Sean after the break. We were just chatting off air about Terry Venables and Euro 96. You're getting Euro 96 vibes already.
Well, I'm getting England-Holland Euro 96 vibes, 100%, because, I was very fortunate enough to know Terry, as I'm sure you two did. And, I asked him about that game. We used to do a show together on Saturdays on the radio about football. And, he said, I just threw 7 forwards on. Everybody could play in attack. Even the sort of back 4, we were very sort of front-footed thinking. And he said, don't worry about how many goals they're going to score. Just score more goals than them. And then you have them on the back foot and they can't get out of their own half anyway. Yeah. And you were there for England-Holland at Wembley Stadium. I was there when the scoreboard said England 4, Holland 0. I mean, they did score a goal, but we did see 4-0 for a while. And last night was very, very reminiscent of that, and they talk about total football. That was as close as we got. And, I'm fascinated by managers and what they say and what makes the difference between an Alex Ferguson and an Arsene Wenger and a Thomas Tuchel compared to the others. Ancelotti, I know you're a big fan of, and he's been on the show.
Yeah.
And it's great, isn't it, what Harry... Because the thing about Tuchel is he's just saying what he thinks. Even right before the game, he's saying, well, we're going to do this because they're going to do that. And if they're watching, they know what he's going to do. But he's so organised in a way that's sort of, quite off-putting for the opposition, I would imagine. And then Harry Kane does a Thomas Tuchel after the match because he tells you exactly what Tuchel told them at half time, which was basically, lads, I thought we had a deal here. You're just you're gonna play like you don't care, like you're back in the playground, and in the first half you didn't do that, boys. We had an agreement. Can we just go out and do that? And they all went, oh yeah, we remember. And they just went out, and it was just a different game. And I was, as you can hear, I was very excited about it. We all were very excited about it. And this morning, there's this whole sense of relief and release, and now we're looking forward to next week and Tuesday, and it's like, it might be coming home.
Was a young American. Young American. She was the young American. All night. But she was the young American. Standing right through the picture windows.
Jonny Owen here with Sean Dyche and Tony Woodcock on World Cup weekend, and we've ended with an absolute belter of a song by the late great David Bowie.
Fantastic legend.
Yeah, you can really pull some big guns out if you do English pop.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't even go there with the Beatles.
Oh yeah, that little band.
Yeah. I just want to say, I would ask you some questions, boys, about the World Cup. We can ask you sort of predictions with stuff like dark horses and who you think the top goal scorer would be and all that. But I just want to talk, because the people out there will love listening to this. I'm just talking off air about Tony's sort of played underneath one of the greatest, if not the most influential coaches, managers in the history of the game, Rinus Michels, who Johan Cruyff said he owed everything to. Johan Cruyff famously goes to Barcelona from Ajax, changes Barcelona. We end up with Pep Guardiola. So this is the guy. This is like the tablets of Mount Sinai. We're talking to Tony Woodcock, and Tony, just tell us what he was like with players. You said if ever they complained.
Well, we had a squad of 16 international players with some big names. Tony Schumacher, you must have heard of. Klaus Allofs, Klaus Fischer, Pierre Libarski, Bernd Schuster. Wow. We had the whole lot of them. And Rinus used to run us into the ground. He said, you can't play football without being fit. You need to be fit, right? Absolutely. So the lads were getting a bit uptight about it. And in the newspaper, it came a couple of headlines saying, Tony Schumacher's complaining, and he's the goalkeeper. He's not doing all the running as well, right? He used to. So, and then...
Them keepers,
and then... Pierre Libarski saying, he went to Rinus one day and he says, trainer, do you think we can do a bit of shooting and crossing rather than keep running all the time? And he went, training starts at 10 o'clock. You can come in at 9 o'clock. You can do a bit of crossing and shooting if you like, but we start at 10 o'clock. That was it. This got the lads up. They started speaking to the press. So the headlines in the Cologne Express and the Bild Zeitung was revolt against the general, right? This player's saying this. Within an hour, the directors of the club, they'd got every player up in one of the meeting rooms and said, right, Rinus has been into him. He says, they have to apologise to me now, publicly as well. Otherwise, I'm leaving the club. Within an hour, every player had swallowed it. They'd apologised for putting their opinions out in the newspaper, which they shouldn't have done in the first place. Yeah. And these were international top stars at the time.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
He had them like this, right? And he had us like this for all the time as well. I mean, he was tough, but we realised that toughness was really good for us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of the things now has changed, like I was saying earlier. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's just life. Life's changed. We know that. People want to say they have more say. Agents have more say. Players are speaking to owners, are speaking to agents are speaking to technical directors and all that sort of stuff. And really, when you think of the best clubs, really, there was always a figurehead, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And now they're trying to break that down. The business of football is trying to break it down. This kind of, technical director, general manager, sporting director, whatever way you want to call it. owners now often getting involved in things, whereas the manager used to be the figurehead of the club.
Yeah.
And you think of all the very successful clubs, I'm not just on about winning the league once in a while, I'm not on about that. The ones who build something, they've always been a figurehead at the club, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Very few.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Manchester United have struggled without Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah,
They've
Arsene
sort of-
Wenger, of course.
Yeah.
I will say about Arteta, they've given him time.
Yeah.
You think,
and he's delivered.
Yeah, he had to win.
Yeah.
Because eventually they'd run out of time. But in the modern game, you think they spent £1 billion over them years, and they've given him time.
Do you know what I really liked, lads, as well?
Build a
It was like the old Arsenal. They dug things out, and people don't like their fans. Good. You've won.
The only thing I'd like Arteta to do now is come out and actually take the pressure off all these young managers, because everyone's, Pep's a genius, don't get me wrong, but it's almost like they all have to play the right way.
Yeah.
Putting tremendous pressure on young managers and coaches around the game, all going, but they haven't got the players to do it, the tools to do it.
No,
well, Arteta has thrown his philosophy out the window, but in a clever way, and gone and won the league.
Yeah.
So I'd just come out and call it and say, my philosophy wasn't working. I had to change my philosophy and I had to use whatever, set pieces, the dark arts, I don't know, and all that.
Well,
It'd be brilliant. I think just, give something back to the game in that sense, where young managers and coaches then, they haven't got to go and, tell the board they're all going to play 500 passes and they're going to score every time.
I always think of the late, great...
gives a bit more balance.
Dear friend of Tony and teammate John Robertson, who used to say to me, everybody tries to play like Barcelona, son. The problem is they had Iniesta, Busquets and Messi.
Exactly.
And it's a great point, isn't it?
Exactly.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, by the way. I'm just giving an opinion on it, because I know some of these young coaches, young managers, they're going, but I've got to try and get the job. I've got to tell them we're going to play this way and that way. And I'm going, well, be careful with that. You need to win.
Yeah.
I mean, and Arteta, he's won.
I'm looking at Arsenal, right? I mean, there have a lot of discussion about their corner kicks and their free kicks. Now, you just said, Rice, he knocks a good corner in.
He certainly does.
And he knocks a good free kick in. So it's the delivery of the ball, first of all. If you look in the box, all this wrestling, which I can't understand, because the most important thing is the ball. So you need to have your eye on the ball, and you need to have an eye whoever you're marking, right? So I can't understand someone who's got his back towards the ball and he's wrestling that. And the next thing is when they pull out it's a running jump. It's a good ball into the box and a running jump at a corner. It's not rocket science, what we're talking about. It's been going for years and years, right? But now it's like, whoa, free kicks and taking the time, and so
it is, isn't it? I went just quick before we go on to the World Cup. If we ever watch Big Match Revisited on ITV4, which I think half the country does because it's going on WhatsApp group, if you watch a corner now from when the great Forest in the late 70s, it's bonkers. Everybody stands there. And the ball comes in and they just compete for the ball. There's no rugby tackling or grabbing. When did that come into the game?
I know.
They all just wait for the ball to come in. And
it was cupping a few years ago. Do you remember the cupping thing?
Yeah.
And then they sort of got rid of that, and now it's sort of coming back round again.
Right, lads, just a quick run through then for the World Cup. Okay, here we go. Dark horses. I'm going to go Germany.
Oh, they can't be dark horses, are they?
Well, a lot of people are writing Germany off. I'm saying they're dark
horses. It's a massive long shot. I'm going to go proper dark horse. I'd say like Japan or something like that.
Tony?
Not that I've watched many games, but Japan. I like their attitude and their tenacity, whatever sport they're playing in. So I've just got a feeling with that.
Who will be the top goal scorer?
I've got to say Kane.
Okay.
I'm an Englishman. I want him to be the top goal scorer, and he's a brilliant player.
Tony?
Well, I'm saying showing you want him to be the top goal scorer, but you've got him all firing on all cylinders.
I was going to say,
you've got Kane, you've got Messi, you've got Haaland. They're all there, all fighting for it.
I'm going to go with you. As a Welshman, I'm going to say Mbappe. Who do you think?
I've forgotten about it.
Who do you think is going to be the player of the tournament?
Well, Mbappe's laying down a marker, isn't he? Messi has, but I don't think the opposition were amazing. Again, I hope it's an English player, but I think Mbappe's probably going to be up there.
Mbappe, I can remember saying a while back on one of the film about Jeff Hurst, saying, a hat-trick in a World Cup final is never impossible, but it's going to be a long, long time before someone does it. 2 months later, Mbappe scored 3 goals, but he was on the losing team. So I'm sure he's got some fire in his body now, and he started off well, so it could be Mbappe.
Brilliant, boys. And so one word answer before we go, and thank you very much for listening to us. Who's going to win the World Cup? Tony Woodcock.
I'm going to say England.
Come on, England. Come on.
I'm going to go France. Thanks very much for listening.
Simon, from Southgate to Tuchel, was this the front-footed difference that you have been wishing?
Oh, definitely. I mean, for a number of reasons, for the reasons that Brad's laid out in terms of the substitutions, from the manner in which this is rock and roll football. This is what we saw with Jurgen Klopp in the second half. Interesting that Tuchel needs to have a reinforcement at half-time, because you would have assumed that that conversation had happened before the game and that they were told to get on the front foot before the game. And England looked quite nervous when they started, and they weren't, for the first 5 or 10 minutes, I thought they weren't really at it. You know, I think the performance in the second half, I was sitting next to Brad, and he was saying to me, and I think I'm right in quoting him, is that this is the best attacking formation or attacking performance that we've seen in the World Cup so far, in terms of the way that they put it upon the Croatians. Whatever we may have curated in the media about how old this Croatian team is, Troy was saying to me off air that the average age of the Croatians is 28 and a half, whereas our team is 27. We've been walking around under the impression this is a dad's army, just because you've got Luka Modric. So they're not mugs. You know, I think we could have done better with the goals, but notwithstanding that, you know, whatever lessons we think we need to learn defensively, Tuchel will learn them and they'll make some adjustments. But offensively, if you look at that performance, that is as good as you want an England side to play. It's as good as an England side has played on the front foot for a very, very long time. And you look at it, and 4-2 flatters the Croatians to some extent, because England could have had 6 in the second half. So I think it's a great marker. It's a great start to the tournament. It's what the public will want to see. Tuchel is hiding his light behind a bushel, because I would imagine he was very strong in the dressing room at half-time to wake a few people up, because you saw it, they came out of the traps like men possessed. Yeah. You know, the perfect cure to a goal just before half-time is a goal directly after half-time. And that's exactly what England got.
I also thought as well, sorry, I know you've got to go to